Lietner, go join the clue.
Hey, thank you, Grackle, for subscribing. That's a subscriber thing, I think. Thank you. Oh, for 4 months. Jeez, thank you. Thank you, Grackle. Appreciate that a lot. I didn't time the timer exactly right. No. I didn't realize it ended and has the credits. Oh well. We just have to wait. We have to wait. It's fucking Annalid time. Let's go, boys. Hello, welcome in. Thank you so much, Grackle, for subscribing for 4 months. I really appreciate that. Welcome in. Today we have something that you might actually enjoy in particular. We have an audit of people on the left with bad opinions. So, how do I preface this? The title of this stream is Auditing the Unbombed. The Unbombed is a meme. I don't know if it's specifically a meme in Ukrainian Twitter, but a lot of people use it basically for saying, you are a Westerner that does not understand the perils of war. You don't understand existential crisis. You live in an insulated world where you have luxury opinions, basically, right? And something that's bothered me for a long time in this little commentary space that I found my way into, I guess, I found my way into this commentary, like basically online content that I consumed prior to turning left-wing was stuff like, I watched a little bit of Short Fat Otaku, I watched, like, Matt Christensen, I watched Steven Crowder, like, way back in the day. I even watched The Quartering a little bit. Like, I was very right-wing in my content, but it was kind of like, I watched it for a while, and then when it became repetitive, validating, you know, my worldview and things like that, you know, I got bored of it before I even turned left-wing. So when I found my when I found myself questioning my politics a lot, basically when I started just applying critical thinking to the world, essentially, about a lot of my beliefs, I wanted to consume content centered around that to try to see what other people who consider themselves left-wing were discussing. Like, what was the political worldview of these people? Were they really these crazy soy, you know, trans activists that would scream at you and that changed their pronouns every day, or were they reasonable people? So, I found video essayists first, and I think through those video essayists and through Short Fat Otaku, I became familiar with Vosh. Through Vosh, I actually became familiar with Dylan Burns when he when he got demonetized. I think it was in 2023. So that's kind of like my entry into this weird left-wing space, because most people who watch my stream know who Destiny is, you know who H3H3, like I watched Ethan Klein back in the day a little bit, but that was before he did any sort of political content. Yeah. You know that luxury comes with levels, right? But Twitter leftists specifically are probably the higher of the privilege side of the privilege. I would agree with that. Grackle in this is probably pretty rare, but I agree with you. That there are like different tiers of privilege. I found myself as time goes on viewing things less through like race or even gender and more just seeing it through class struggle. And I know that makes me sound like really fucking like left-wing socialist, but it's just kind of what it is, you know, because if you want to break things down systemically, the thing that factors in the most is people's economic privilege, and that economic privilege is going to factor in the most right now because of like the gulf between earning, you know, at the highest end and at the lowest end right now. The difference in society is going to be noted the most by socioeconomic privilege. That's kind of how I feel about it, right? So, I have a serious problem with the structure of streaming because of this. I have a serious problem with pretty much all online platforms because of the way that content is served to us, I guess, and the incentives that go into that. Because it's twofold. Hi, Oscar. You want to leave the room? I'm sorry. Am I talking too loud? Yeah, let me cat out. Come on, buddy. Anyways, um, so platform one, it changes your socioeconomic class. Streaming in particular, or doing online work, or even if you're doing like political journalism, I think that not only do these things sort of tend to pay well, but they also isolate you from the general public, aside from like a few people in your family, right? Working class is a real thing. People who interact at the lowest levels of the economy, like, that's most of the labor force right now. Because of the because of the structure of the American labor, like the labor that's available, our working class should be defined by that lowest rung. Um, so when I hear left wing, and I know that somebody is inherently isolated from a lot of the natural inoculation that people that I know that are right wing or that are apolitical or anything like that naturally get from interacting with other working class people. If they don't have that natural inoculation, I need to see it in their character. I need them to preach it. I think both. Who do you think is more isolated, Asmongold or Hassan? I think they're both isolated in different ways. Capital isolates them, but also mental health isolates Asmongold. Like he obviously came from a hoarder family that had health problems, so he probably didn't have like a lot of. I mean, I would say that if I had to pick which one of them has a more relatable background, certainly Asmongold. Um, I don't think either of them are good people. So I'm not really going to compare which one is good versus the other because I think that they're both engaging that in a lot of behavior that is ultimately going to be detrimental to society. Um, yeah, Asman is speaking to working class viewers, but I don't think so. So the thing that Asman is doing is he's appealing to the lowest common denominator, like not necessarily the lowest common denominator, but he's appealing to our instincts, which is to fear, to otherize people, to scapegoat people, and to have easy answers to things. That's what Asmongold is doing. And a lot of people a lot of people find Asmongold appealing because of I think it's what they say is like a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, right? And you can even say that's kind of the theme of this stream, is that a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. Um, because it makes you feel good to learn things. It makes you feel good to be in the know about privileged information, right? I think that's kind of why a lot of people become tankies, become like non-educated, just kind of emotionally driven tankies. It's in large part like What was I saying? Shit, I just lost my entire train of thought. Fuck. Shit. What was I saying? Anyways, the point is, fuck. What was I saying? I literally just like, this is the problem with having, it's not misphonia, but it's like auditory stimulus problems, is that if I start to hear something behind me, I will like completely lose my train of thought, and that's kind of like a hindrance towards streaming. Anyways, we have stuff to get into today. So this whole current saga that I'm on right now, we're gonna be going through. Let me recenter. We're talking about Asmongold. How do I feel about Asmongold? Oh yeah, so he's appealing to the lowest common denominator. Yeah, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing because it makes you feel good to learn. The problem is that a lot of people focus on that feeling and they tie it to their ego a little bit too much, and they don't actually go through they don't feel enough humility. They don't go through the process of exploring knowledge further. And I think Asmongold is somebody who derives a lot of his ego from knowing things and talking confidently about things, especially in spite of who he is as a person. He's a disgusting fucking human being. He's an absolute fucking rat of a human, right? He lives in filth. But he can know things. He can say things confidently. He can have information that other people don't. And that is where he derives his value. He has a platform. Normally, somebody like Asmongold would be more depressed in his environment. He would not be able to sustain himself as well economically. And this has changed also just because, you know, like work from home is different. There's a lot more people that are isolated, that are kind of needs that don't need to go outside. But Asmon in particular has social validation, not just money, but social validation. And he is depressed, and he's not okay. None of these people are okay. Destiny is not okay. Ethan Klein is not okay. Elon Musk and Donald Trump realistically aren't okay. I mean, Donald Trump is an old man. He's going to die soon. It doesn't matter. But these people are fundamentally broken inside because they are buying into this parasocial dynamic that they have. They're on the other side of the parasocial dynamic. So, like I said, it's money, but it's also social validation, right? That's just kind of like about the larger creators. The other question here is, are a lot of leftists in the West who don't have as much privilege and social isolation from the problems of the world as, say, your Asmongold or your Hassan or your Destiny, but are people in the West isolated from the things that they're engaging with socially online? Are they actually educated on the topics that they're engaging with? Do they understand the actual responsibility that comes with deciding to do activism and be an opinionated person about geopolitics specifically, right? Because I don't necessarily blame people who are apolitical, who they've decided in their life that for one reason or the other, they don't have, like, this isn't something that they're interested in. This isn't something that they remark on, right? That's fine. I don't fault those people. It's the people that gain either ego validation or some sort of social credit online through engaging in these topics that are of consequence to people around the world, especially when you're an American, because we have a lot of investments in military, you know, operations and everything around the world, right? When you're engaging in these sorts of conversations online, you should not speak flippantly. When it's somebody else getting bombed, you should not be joking about polymarket bets. And when somebody is like, oh, that's horrible, and you're like, nah, it only sucks for the people that got rug pulled, right? When you say some shit like that about a war, sure, it's a joke. But in this global world, especially on Twitter, guess who's gonna see that? Guess who's gonna have to deal with that in their fucking feed every goddamn day if they decide to engage with English-speaking Twitter at all? They're gonna have to see people making a cruel bet over the fact that a city right near your hometown got bombed last night and 21 people died. And that is really the thing, is that, like, we can say some isolated country, some isolated non-English speaking country, not that those problems aren't still horrible and that we should be empathetic towards it, right? But at least those people have less of a chance of actually having to see our bullshit fucking ghoulish jokes. So that is what I find myself really wondering when I look around myself as somebody who considers myself an American leftist these days. When I look around myself, are these people actually moral? Do they actually live by what I consider the tenets of leftism, which are empathy for others, striving to have like an equitable economy where people don't have to starve, where we can make use of the land that we have, right? When we have that, like, you can only achieve those things, in my mind, through understanding, not ego-driven discussion and shit like that, right? It's like, sorry, I lost my train of thought. This is a depressing fucking topic, but it's a circus. My entire country has been turned into a bunch of clowns, and it is a circus. It's not real anymore when it comes to interacting with discourse online. Like, I'm at the point where I'm almost becoming a neo-Luddite, right? Because I see interacting with social media, I see humans interacting with social media in any way at this point as a net fucking negative. Because it's not real. There's no real social balancing. Like, the fact that we can commodify war to this extent, that we can joke about it or use an international conflict to take strikes, as we'll see, to take jabs at somebody who is, to use a conflict over a streamer who is undergoing a legal case, to take jabs at somebody who is currently being bombed, who is using a community that you probably don't like because you don't like the streamer that they're associated with. You're gonna take jabs at that person online in horrible ways and perpetuate Russian fucking propaganda because you think that she is what? She's not going hard enough against this person that you dislike, when it's are you sitting out here? We're gonna get into it. Before I get too far, let me actually just bring up the fucking theme of the day. Why I'm so mad. This is a rage stream. Gato Fumador. I am calling out this person that I see, unfortunately. Okay. A lot of people in the circles that I run in are anti-Destiny, and I don't mind them being anti-Destiny because I see him as a vile person who gives people who want to do left-wing politics in America a bad name. He's the sort of person to this day, like, I'm the sort of person where the whole, like, people editing Charlie Kirk's face onto everybody, like, those memes are funny as fuck to me. But when people are going and saying, like, celebrating his death to this day and, like, bringing that to Republicans and stuff like that, when people are doing that, I'm like, why? Who are you helping at this point? You're just being a bitter fucking person, and that's who people like Destiny are. And that's who Gato Fumador is, as well. Despite having the exact opposite politics from them, right? Despite having being on the opposite side of this stupid drama divide, this person engages in the exact same brain-dead behavior as any DGGer. But we like them. We retweet them. We support them. We treat them as if they're just joking when they say inflammatory things. They're just trying to rile up people we hate. But they have a Twitter posting history well outside of this. So, we're gonna get into it. All right. One second. So, this all started from an unfortunate post. So it was, let's see, is this the post that started? I humbly apologize. This is Anna. We're gonna go into this Ukrainian. They do a lot of fundraising efforts. They are somebody who has been on Piers Morgan as well as a frequent guest on Destiny's streams. That's why people associate her heavily with DGG. She also fundraises through Destiny's community. To this day, she kind of does side on the side of whatever. I'm gonna get my fucking bag. I don't care about, like, this bitch in fucking Florida. I have my own country to defend. I have my own country to fund, right? I totally understand that. I've disliked a couple times where this girl, Anastasia, Ukrainian Anna on Twitter, I've disagreed with her at times where I've seen her get into the liberal versus left debate in American politics, because I think that it's something that's more nuanced than somebody who is in a different country can really engage with. And I think that she doesn't need to be bringing infighting in American politics into her fundraising ambitions. But also she's her own person. She can do whatever she wants. I'm free to criticize her. It doesn't make me dislike her as a person or her efforts or anything that she's ever said. I've been a fan of her ever since I've seen her on Destiny streams. I've been a fan of her when I saw her on Piers Morgan. I, like, strongly supported her to get away from Destiny, like, in, servers that we were mutual in. And people have been going after her lately because of her association with Destiny. So she replies to this post from this other person. 3 people with almost identical foreign policy stances: Hassan Piker, Nick Fuentes, and Jason Hinkle. What's his name? Am I getting that wrong? Jackson Hinkle. I had that wrong. Jackson Hinkle, this stupid Russian sommelier. So with almost identical foreign policy takes. Now, I would say that they're not necessarily, like, so you have America First, you have a paid Russian simp, and then Hassan Piker, you have an anti-imperialist West tanky. So, no, I wouldn't say they have identical foreign policy takes. But the reply from Gato Fumador here was, didn't you get caught basically trafficking teenage Ukrainian refugees to Destiny? Which is a crazy fucking take to make with absolutely no proof. Like, whatever you want to say about Destiny's behavior with, people that he, like, reported stuff with and how he's treated that information, or maybe even the fact that he engaged with a minor and probably tried to exchange nudes with them, probably knew that they were 17, or at least didn't verify their age very well in the case of Rose. Whatever you want to say about Destiny, right? This is an insane take. Without any proof, without anything to back it up. So, I humbly apologize. Ukrainian Anna responds, I humbly apologize, but what in the actual ever-loving fuck are you on about? This is the biggest what moment I've ever experienced on this platform. Care to elaborate? Alright. So this was the original post, and she has blocked Gato. And this is another Deeperama post that Gato has reposted in the past. Inspiring Ukrainian war hero Anna I've never pronounced her last name. Paraska Vanovka. I think I got Paraska Vanovka offers shelter to high school girls displaced by Russia's invasion, and all she asks for in return is for them to record content for a mysterious Western benefactor. So this is another tanky poster, I think they're like a Hassan Deeperama. Obviously, they're engaging in the Hassan versus Destiny war. Right. I don't care if worse is said about your Erudite, bitch, because Erudite's on an active war zone doing fundraising. Your opinion is invalid, Crackle. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the difference between going after somebody who is living in a cushy Western country and they have the ability to, like, the reason they're engaging online is because they're passionate about politics or they're opinionated or they're bored or whatever, right? Anna is explicitly engaging online at this point to fundraise because her father was killed in a shelling in her hometown. I believe it was, I think it was Kharkiv. I don't want to, if I'm wrong about that, somebody correct me. I know she lives in Kharkiv right now. Her father was killed, and she's been running fundraisers ever since. She's been supporting, like, she's been, like I said, not only has she been running fundraisers, but she's been a outspoken supporter of her country and what they actually need from the West in terms of defense. Why the deals that have been offered to Ukraine in terms of quote-unquote peace deals are not sufficient, because it doesn't allow for their continued defense. It doesn't allow them to have actual self-sufficiency afterwards, because they have to remain neutral, because they have to cut down their military defense afterwards, right? Which we have another article we're going to get into today. This is a little bit of an angry stream. So, yeah, you have this Deep Rama person, obviously, saying some fucking bullshit. So Gato is mad that they made up some bullshit, asking for elaboration in bad fucking faith, right? I don't, like, what do you mean bias? Obviously, I'm biased in a situation that I care about. There's no such sort of thing as, does bias compromise you? Like, if I'm biased about something, does that mean I'm incapable of explaining a situation and referring to actual concrete fact? Because I don't think it does. People who will call you biased or compromised for caring about something are ineffective, fucking feckless assholes. So asking for elaboration then blocking should legally be considered an admission of guilt in a court of law. Obviously, this person is an insincere piece of shit, right? They're an insincere piece of shit, but they're an insincere piece of shit along a certain pattern. So I think they posted something. Yeah, they reshared that as like, they reshared that as if that's somehow proof, right? Yeah, like, essentially, literally what? So this is what I saw a streamer referencing this post, and I pointed out to them that, hey, this is this person has a pattern of doing this. And they said, I don't know about that. I haven't seen that. I think that they're just joking, right? They thought that this is all just a meme. This is all just a joke. So what I've done is gone through and make an absolute schizo document of every single time this person has said some crazy shit about Ukrainians. And I have a point that I want to prove with all this, but I just want to go through this. Need some jazz. That's a really good point. Or let's see. I'm gonna find some fucking music. I usually have like all the freaking. Where is it? That's not the vibe. That's not music. This okay? No, you literally cannot ask something without me spazzing out, Greckle. That's actually impossible. So don't. So, in the parts of so we have here, this entire thread is going off of a post by Anna Kasparian. Just when I thought I couldn't be more blackpilled, this is disgraceful Bernie Sanders. It's basically Bernie Sanders is explicitly not using the word genocide in this clip. This is from July. I don't know if I don't actually know if he's changed his position on this, but a lot of people were making a big deal about Bernie Sanders being political, being a politician, and not wanting to use the word genocide, but stopping just short of that. Until one of you people tell me how to get aid into Gaza without Hamas stealing it, or to pay its troops, or defense forces having to shoot Gazans, Hamas, to keep them from stealing aid. See, I don't like this guy here, right? Chris here, this asshole. You can miss it with your emotional driven genocide claims. I think it's a legitimate claim. Like, they are intentionally starving out aid in the region to hurt not only Hamas, but the entire civilian population. You're asking the wrong question. The issue isn't how to get aid in without Hamas stealing it. The issue is, why are 2 million civilians being starved under the pretext that some might be militants? That's collective punishment and it's illegal under international law. This person? Correct. This person? Great. We love them. Awesome. So, Chris, is Russia providing aid for Ukrainians? So, this is where Gato's stupidity, like, Gato's stupid gene gets activated by this tweet in particular, by this Chris guy. And for the record, this is a retarded fucking tweet. Is Russia providing aid to Ukrainians? The bar is already ridiculous. The fact that the UN and Israel try to provide aid for it to be stolen by Hamas and resold to pay its troops is most definitely an issue. Now, not to say that there isn't a problem with certain, like, people stealing and reselling aid in, you know, Gaza, but this isn't necessarily what, like, this isn't a reason to not be concerned about the intentional, like, this is just a deflection, essentially. This guy is arguing like an idiot. So he says here, is Russia providing aid for Ukraine? Now, once again, to compare the two situations, right, where there have been two populations living side by side in the case of Israel, Gaza, West Bank, Palestinians and Israel, right? There have been two populations living side by side, and then there is an explicit connection between those two states because of the, like, well, basically the dual citizen issue, like because of the settlement. Like, I'm not, the theme of this episode is that you don't talk about things that you don't know very well, right? You don't comment on things that you're not very educated on with certainty. So I'm going to preface all this to say that I'm kind of a fucking dumbass when it comes to this, and I can't speak eloquently about it. So I'm not going to try to, right? But the point is that the situations are different when it comes to what level of treatment can you expect from a explicitly aggressive force, right? And while the situation, and even Ukrainians would agree, that the situation for Palestinians is much worse than Ukrainians face on a whole, if we're comparing just people in the occupied territories, we're not allowed in. International organizations are not allowed in to occupied territories. We know that there are mass graves. We know that people are beheaded. We know that women are raped. We know that people are disallowed from speaking their native language. We know that this is happening. And the thing that is scariest that we know are all the things that we can't know. Yeah, it's a war versus a massacre. So to even compare these two, once again, I wouldn't say that when it comes to sympathy towards, like, it's different. It's stupid to compare the two in the first place, right? Because you should have sympathy for both populations for different reasons. Now, Gato's point here. In the parts of Ukraine under Russian occupation that still contain Ukrainian civilians, yes, I'd imagine they're being provided aid. We'd probably have heard by now if these people were all being starved to death, no? And this guy here literally just asked Rock. Verify their claim. Based on 2025 reports from the UN, HRW, Reuters, and BBC, Russian-occupied Ukrainian areas face severe humanitarian crises, including food insecurity and restricted aid access. Russia claims integration and aid, but evidence is limited. International organizations report denials of access, and no mass starvation deaths are confirmed. However, millions suffer displacement, and shortage situation is dire, not benign. And then they also say where it shows all of it from. So like I said, we know that when Ukraine has reclaimed cities that have been taken by Russia, like in the initial advance, when they reclaimed cities that were taken by Russia, they found mass graves. That happened in Bucha. That happened in Izium. Okay? So to even claim this to begin with is to essentially be completely uneducated on this conflict. If you want to argue with this Chris guy, argue with his point here. He's a dumbass. He's asking a stupid question. You can respond to this with a concise answer, or you can just ignore it and you can only respond to the part that is relevant to the conversation. Because this is a bait. Instead, you have opened your mouth and revealed yourself to be a dumbass. So, let's see. So we have another. Ethan Klein admits he doesn't understand why a sardonic joke about a country we spent $200 billion defending would hit differently if it were made about people who have been slaughtered and starved for the last 2 years by both of the countries he holds citizenship in. I don't even want to look at this. Like, the argument on this is fuck. I'm not even going to try to parse this part. Let's look into what they actually mean here. So, I think it's simpler than that. Ukrainians have full agency to make a deal with Russia to end this war. They would lose Crimea, and it would suck, but it would be an end to the devastation. Palestinians don't have such a luxury. They're being removed entirely from their homeland. Which is why it's very stupid to it's like, I think that there's no real point to compare these two, like, conflicts. Because the actual things that we advocate for are received very differently by the American public. The point of empathy is like... Anyways. I don't want to get too mad, so I'm just gonna keep going. Also, does Hamas not have full identity with it? So Hamas repeatedly tried to make a deal starting the day after October 7th, which is correct. There have been, like, obviously, Israel is acting in bad faith, just the same way that Russia is when it comes to a lot of these deals. That's a comparison. But the interesting thing is that Gato can only seemingly understand one side of the situation. Hamas has repeatedly tried to make a deal starting the day after October 7th and ending with being assassinated in the middle of negotiations yesterday. Devastation has always been the only thing Israelis wanted. Ukraine could have made a deal early on and maybe lost a couple eastern lands. But now it increasingly looks like they are going to end up cut off from the Black Sea. Once again, shit like this, not helpful. Just as well, the deal that they were offered early on was to remain neutral, to demilitarize, to not accept any EU deals, like anything like that. Basically, and yes, to just give up their territory, right? That was the deal that they were offered. And to this day, demilitarization is not something that Ukraine accepts, right? I think that there are, at this point, land concessions that they wouldn't have made at the beginning of the war. But to act like a deal early on, that anything that Russia has offered, because they haven't even come to the table. They haven't come in good faith at all. At this point, they are giving maximalist demands, which still includes demilitarization of Ukraine. So no, they've never had a viable option. They've never been offered a viable option. Just the same way that you want to say there's a poison pill in every deal that's been offered, that's been legitimately rejected by any sort of, Palestinian government authority, it's the exact same fucking situation. If you can't understand it in one situation, why do you have to compare the two? Why are you passionate about this? So, right, just make sure we got everything there. Here we have a thread about, oh god, it's a song. There's literally nothing Zelensky can do that would stop Trump and his admin from humiliating. Obviously, their proxies are always powerless in these circumstances, but the decorum is totally broken. No care for diplomacy, the end of soft American power. Which is just kind of like, I don't necessarily think Hassan's saying anything bad. So I don't even know what it's in response to. There's nothing. So this seems like a fine statement. Zelensky wasn't humiliated. He got exactly what he wanted out of this. In what sense? He looked like a victim being punched down by two fat, powerful Americans parroting Russian propaganda in front of cameras. The world was watching. This is going to be all over European news. And after all that, you see Zelensky give a big thumbs up. This was his intention. So this is just kind of like, I would say in terms of Western speculation about Ukraine and like the news regarding Ukraine, this is all fairly banal. Like there's nothing, like this is just people having opinions that are inconsequential, I would say, overall, right? Yeah, but like, how does that benefit him? America is ending support, and both of Europe's leaders that seem potentially ready to support Ukraine have both visited Trump and backed off of their promises. It seems pretty dire for Ukraine. I don't even know what this person is referencing here, though. I think that there was, like, because I think that, Germany and the UK, they pretty much kept support for Ukraine consistent through Trump's president. I mean, I don't really know. So, cynical view is maybe this Zelensky agreed to a deal without being assassinated by Azov et al. And this is another serious problem that I have. So, you have a person who is ostensibly, like, they're a Hassan fan, they are a Palestinian, like they're pro-Palestine essentially. This person should understand the concept of freedom, like people who are radicalized, right, are not necessarily bad people. If you can understand that, you can understand the duality of man enough for people who are in an active conflict, right? It's just, every single time they mention Azov, it's always Azov Nazis, Azov Nazis, Azov Nazis, Azov Nazis. And within the country, the people that are still within government that are officers that are Azov, they are there because they I guess without making this stream too long. Sorry, my dog started barking. This is frustrating. I'm not saying he's Russian, by the way, Crackle. What I'm saying is that the contextualization of Azov throughout all of this person's posts does not in any way frame them as, like, it's a Russian talking point to demonstrate Ukrainian reverence to people who served in the military who are associated with Azov as an explicit support of Nazism. When one, there's been a lot of reform. Two, it has not even necessarily been an explicitly it hasn't been an explicitly anti-Semitic organization since its inception, and also it was partially funded by a Jewish oligarch. So it's like the whole situation with it, to call them Nazis, I just feel like it shows a level of disengagement with the conflict that is the same sort of thing as if I was just calling any sort of freedom fighter, any sort of person that has a resistance against the state of Israel that doesn't like coincide with normal Western ideas of like war fighting, right? If I call that person a terrorist, it would be the same thing. And I don't believe in the fucking word terrorist. So why can't this person be as good of a leftist as my dumbass? Why can't this person be consistent? And I guess that's what I'm wondering. Is this person just morally lucky? Does this person really just get all of their prescriptions from Hassan? What is their background? What is this music? I mean, it's not bad. This will make me more calm. I don't think I want that, though. It's not bad. The mainstream media has been spouting Russian talking points for a long time. Because anytime that there is a smaller group that doesn't have a media presence in the West, and then you have Russia as the person that wants to, like, do counter narratives against them, yeah, that's going to become the mainstream media's narrative. This guy basically, yeah, he's I don't know if he's a Hassan fan, but he defends everything Hassan. So let's see. And I don't want to just... The point isn't just to say that you should hate Gato Fumador, right? Because I don't really care if you reshare something of them that aligns with one of your points, right? So yeah, let's see. I should have opened these all at once, actually. Because this is what I needed to make my point before. So this is a weird speculation thread about Hassanabi. Denazifying Ukraine was Russia's ridiculous propaganda for... So this is Hassan's point. Denazifying Ukraine was Russia's ridiculous propaganda for invading Ukraine and occupying it. So why is it that when Israel makes this ridiculous claim, Westerners are so quick to believe it? You cannot eradicate Hamas by bombing Gaza. So once again, this is Hassan, and this is why I think that this is kind of like, if I'm going to say a Hassanite, right? Is because it's kind of the same weaponization of one point, one conflict towards another. Now, it's an interesting point, but I think that it's a little bit different when the inciting factor was October 7th in this case, when it was a large invasion, like a large attack, whether it was, you know, the result of an escalation through years and years of mistreatment in the region is one thing or another. But if you're going to say that, well, let's see, in Israel you have ultimate security control over the Gaza Strip after the war, an Israeli diplomatic source said after the war Gaza will have to undergo denazification to end culture of wanting to kill Jews, which exists in the Palestinian Authority too. So this is interesting, like, but it's also, I mean, I would say that probably the concern of radicalized people, if they were going to do this, I would say that, like, Hassan's take here is weird, because I would say that, okay, the idea of Palestinians not having self-determination is bad, so if they have to undergo, like, if they're doing any sort of ideological reprogramming of Palestinian people, like, that is bad. So they're saying after the war. You're saying justification for the war. Once again, this is why you pin these, like, you pin people on both sides of this conflict against each other for no reason when you do this. Just because you think that you have a gotcha. You are disaffected by the situations that you're remarking on. So we have, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are no Nazi militants with significant control in Ukraine as opposed to Hamas, which is in significant control in Palestine, which is, if they're saying that Hamas is equivalent to, an anti-Jewish and anti-Semitic, a Nazi force, if that's who they're talking about explicitly there, then that would be whatever. But I don't know if that's like, this person comes off very strong. I don't like the way this is a horrible post to make. This is obviously a fucking Zionist point to make. Zelensky brings Azov member. This is where Gato coming in. Our favorite fucking poster with the dumbest point you could possibly make out of nowhere, not even relevant. These two people are having a somewhat productive conversation, and you come in, you gotta say, Zelensky brings Azov members everywhere he travels. They literally control all of Ukraine's social media accounts. They might be marginal in number, but they punch way above their weight. And by punching above their weight, he's trying to imply that Nazi militants somehow have influential control. Not that these people have earned their way into these military positions through being, senior members of military. And I don't understand this. If you want to have a bodyguard, you want somebody who has a background, and the name is the Azov Battalion is not, the whole Azov is inherently Nazis thing. I even admit to, believing that in the beginning and thinking that anybody who was associated with them, anybody who engaged in the defense of Mariupol, not because it was a unaffiliated militant group before, right? But even the kind of ethno-nationalist militant that Azov was, and the undercurrent of the time, if you're going to say that it was explicitly anti-Jewish, that they were equivalent to neo-Nazis, no, most of them were anti-Russians. They were actually some of them were Ukrainian nationalists, where they had different opinions of different Ukrainian ethnic nationalities as well. And you can say that's an inherently fascist ideology, but it's just you're relating it to anti-Jewishness when this person is saying denazification. They're using it differently than what Russia was trying to say, right? Which Russia was trying to say there's there's conflicts, and there are people that have ethnic tension of this militant group as well. I mean, if I'm being kind of honest, when a neighboring country invades, I probably want ethno-nationalists on the border. Because they're gonna fight the hardest. That's what I'm saying, is that when it's an existential war, right? When it's an existential war, we can't have our Western values come into place all the time. We can't judge these people and say that, oh, I hope these people die, when they are defenders, when they are putting their lives on the line, right? We can get engaged in left-wing politics over their sensibilities, right? If somebody was a neo-Nazi and they went and they tried to beat the shit out of minorities, whatever, yeah, they deserve to rot in jail after the war, right? Anyways. So then we have, I mean, I feel bad for Zelensky for making a last-ditch effort trying to publicly shame a guy who's been openly telegraphing that he's going to fuck you is just goofy. You're not dealing with Dementia Joe Democrats anymore. And I still think that him not wearing the suit the first time he went and then wearing the suit the last time was fine. I think that was a good move. This is just, once again, a weird fucking take. Making a last-ditch effort to publicly shame a guy. Once again, this is just interesting, because I don't think he was trying to shame him. He was making a fucking... An alternative theory is that Zelensky orchestrated this entire sideshow so when he agrees to a deal, he might be able to avoid getting assassinated by Azov Nazis. So this is, once again, it's what's not said here, right? You have the Azov Nazis again. You have the idea that if he agrees to a deal, it's going to be the Azov Nazis in his homeland that are assassinating him over it, that they're unreasonable people. This feeds into Russian propaganda of the idea that Ukraine is not a stable democracy, and that there's so much corruption that it's basically a fucking madhouse. And there is corruption in Ukraine. There is especially in the military, in terms of supply lines and shit like that. There is certainly a problem, and they are struggling because of it. It's not great. But to say that it's Who are you? Why? So. And just so we know that this is not just one time where they're deciding to go after just Anna for associating with Destiny. So we have Dylan Burns, who is pretty much not associated with Destiny anymore. He hasn't strongly disavowed him, but I mean, the only thing is that he worked for Progressive Victory. He criticized Progressive Victory afterwards or whatever. So apparently Dylan Burns is not pro-Israel enough for Gato Fumador, even though, or not anti-Israel enough, because they don't post enough about it, but they also post about a conflict that doesn't get as much coverage on YouTube, like in these circles, so I don't know why you fucking care. Because his entire audience is off Nazis, once again. So your evidence for Dylan Burns being pro-Israel is he doesn't tweet enough. What an echo chamber you're stuck in. I should just make up a position on Sudan for you. The country Dylan Burns and I are citizens of hasn't spent $1 billion every month for the last 2 years slaughtering and starving Sudanese people. But if it helps, I think everybody's oh shit. My Chrome just crashed. Fuck. No, I had something archived too. Store. It comes back up. Gimme, gimme. Yay, we're still here. Sorry, I was making sure everything was working. Well, yeah, Twitter is bad. Okay, if you want the TLDR to it, you're right, Grackle. We don't need to get into all this, right? By this point, I think I've made my point that Gato Formador is somebody who does not just have a one-time habit of snarking at a Ukrainian for their involvement with Destiny. They routinely pose the idea that people like Dylan Burns are sex tourists, that they're trafficking Ukrainian girls with no evidence, that they're misappropriating funds. I had tweets as that as well. They're misappropriating funds, right? This person is an ideologue, seemingly for no reason. They're allowed to be because the internet is accessible to everybody. There are a lot of bored people out there. It is a hobby to engage in discourse online because it makes us feel good. We feel like we're doing something. We feel like we're accomplishing something. But when you are discussing politics, right? When you're discussing people's rights, when you're discussing people's lives, I do not understand how the world has gotten to the point where we feel so compelled to give opinions about things that we are so absolutely underinformed about. I would rather people not be engaging online like this when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine thing because it benefits state-level actors. State-level actors at this point can manipulate discourse. They can throw monkey wrenches in, and they are, and they will continue to. This has been known. If your hobby is being used as a tool of cyber warfare by a violent, invading government who is attacking our ally, you are, like, if you're a person on the left, you are the person that people on the right point to when they say you're a useful idiot to China. Because you are. Just the same way that people like Destiny are useful idiots to capital. Now, China is a large accumulation of power, of capital, whatever, want to disambiguate that. Anyways. I feel like we don't understand the security risk. We don't understand the ideological poisoning that takes place because of this sort of shit. Because of online stupid fucking turf wars. Yeah. And help up me, I'm sure that I had some bad takes in this as well. Like, when I talk about I missed your chat earlier for some reason. When I talk about my idea of, like, the idea of leftism in America, it's explicitly about, like, understanding the flaws in capital. Like, understanding how those systems work against us as human beings. Understanding the exact mechanism in the modern age of the government to have some sort of, balance, like, having a duty to balance the economy, having a duty to do to engage in good fiscal policy, like, at least seeing that our civic duty should tie into the understanding that capital driven systems are inherently going to drive humans towards our worst tendencies. That they're a really good, like, markets are a really good way to allocate resources. They're efficient. We don't have to worry about so much about, like, bureaucratic lag and shit like that. And we can have a lot of different commodities and whatever. Innovation and, like, whatever. Sorry, I probably should have eaten a little bit more before I started. But yeah, I don't want to go on too long about this. Just, I believe that seeing yourself as a media person online, engaging in politics, it's a destructive behavior for you as an individual. It's a destructive behavior for any audience that you gain. It prevents them from actual political effectiveness. And I don't know, like, I'm fucking sick of these people. I don't know what to say other than that. I'm fucking sick of people that seemingly don't have any problems, that they have to invent them. I'm sick of people that engage in lecherous behavior online when they're trying to advocate for empathetic policies. They're trying to say that the Republicans don't have enough empathy in their politics. And the way that they conduct themselves online is seemingly only moral, like I said, like, in the same way that a fucking clock is right twice a day, because there's no actual consistency in this. They don't apply their worldview to things. Like, I don't really know how to explain this other than that. In that people are fucking sides cucked, and that people are fucking engaging in team sports in the West. And it's not a goddamn game. It is not. Like, I really don't know how to say it, like, better than that. I know it's a little bit, like, all over the place and emotional, but, like, if you attack somebody who does fundraising for her country and accuse her of being a scam artist or a sex trafficker with no proof, somebody who shows receipts, right? If that's your way of owning Destiny, not only do I not believe that you even believe that Destiny is a bad person, if that's what you go to when you want to attack somebody, right? If that's what you spend your time on, not only like as an outside objective viewer, somebody who fucking hates him. If I'm looking at the anti-Destiny crowd and I see that as an absolute objective viewer, you know what the fuck I think? I don't think that you actually care about women. I don't think that you actually care about humans. I think you're a fucking demon. And I don't care if a demon makes a good point. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're still a fucking demon. Anyways. Rant over. Boring part of the stream over. She is a demon. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a demon because she is somebody who has actual political power, who is getting paid by my country to represent her constituents. And she is a frequent launderer of conspiracy theories. And that might be why she's finding herself on the good side of this, is because her conspiracy, like, her mind for conspiracy, like, is probably somewhat motivated by her desire to nurture others and to care for others. So it's not like she's a demon for the same reason that other people are demons. But she's letting her emotional desires fuel her more than, like, logic. I don't know how to say that better. Like, yeah. Her constituents elect her, and I think that she's a valid politician. I don't think she should be, like, impeached or anything like that, but I personally think her behavior's fucking demonic. Fine. MTG isn't a demon. But her beliefs are demonic. Because she is a stupid person, at the very least. If you want me to say that I don't think that she is intentionally demonic, because you're right, she hasn't exactly like demonstrated any particular amount of competency, right? But I don't know. Anyways. So the Financial Times put out an article today. US and Russian officials draft new peace plan for Ukraine. Trump administration and Russian officials have drawn up a sweeping new proposal to end Russia's war in Ukraine that fuck you, Financial Times. I don't actually envisages major concessions to Kyiv and have urged President Volodymyr Zelensky to accept it. According to people briefed on the effort, a group of Russian and American officials were involved in the creation of the plan. Notably, not Ukrainian officials, so just Witkoff, who is an absolute unqualified asshole with a lot of shady financial dealings. So, let's see. Oh, welcome in, Chronic. So once again, we're involved in the creation of the plan, which is still still at a framework stage. A person familiar with the talks told the Financial Times. One of its architects is Kirill Dmitriev, the head of Russia's sovereign wealth fund and a close ally of President Vladimir Putin. People familiar with the proposal said. The plan was conveyed to Kyiv this week by U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who met the current Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine and former Defense Minister Rustem Umerov in Miami to go over its 28 points. Two people with the familiar with the talk said. They added Witkoff had made clear that he wanted Zelensky to accept terms, even though they included points that have long been red lines for Ukraine. One of the people said it would amount to Ukraine giving up its sovereignty if Kyiv I don't know why I'm like fucking with words today. Accepted the plan and called the effort a Russian attempt to play the Trump administration, which they added was eager to show progress on a deal. They've been playing them this entire time. Every single time Vladimir Putin has seemingly offered a concession to Trump, it has been something that has been a non-starter this entire time. It has been either something that like they basically the last time Trump celebrated a supposed win in the Russia-Ukrainian war was, they basically said that they were going to make a new a new Budapest memorandum. The memorandum where they were like, yeah, man, the UNSC is totally, like, that's what they fucking agreed to when we rolled out the red carpet for Putin and he came to our fucking country, was that apparently the UNSC was going to vote on whether or not they were going to militarily intervene if Russia ever invaded again, and that Ukraine can't join NATO. And all of the military concessions and everything like that. And Trump was like, that seems like a great deal. That way, you know, the UNSC will vote on whether or not they send military forces into Ukraine. Not knowing that that's exactly what the fucking problem was, because Russia has veto power over the UNSC and they've been doing it. And we haven't even been fucking asking them to, actually. We haven't been putting pressure in that way. So Ukrainians already know that we can just wash our hands of it with that option. And unfortunately, Americans are stupid enough to think that's a fucking win too. So. Let's see. According to people with knowledge of document about the draft plan, it would require Ukraine to cede the remainder of the eastern Donbas region, including land currently under Kiev's control, and cut the size of its armed forces by half. Crucially, it also calls for Ukraine to abandon key categories of weaponry and would include the rollback of its U.S. military assistance that has been vital to its defense, potentially leaving the country vulnerable to future Russian aggression. So they want to move the line further into like Ukrainian territory, and they want to demilitarize. So they have a larger striking zone and less to actually push back with. Essentially, they just want to roll over them again. That's what Russia's always wanted. Let's see. Crucially, it also calls for Ukraine to abandon key categories of weaponry and would include the rollback of U.S. military assistance that is vital to. I already read that. Additionally, no foreign troops would be allowed on Ukrainian soil, and Kyiv would no longer receive Western long-range weapons that can reach deep inside Russia. The plan would also stipulate that Russian be recognized as an official state language in Ukraine and grant formal status to both branch of the Russian Orthodox Church, provisions echoing long-standing Kremlin political objectives. Americans would never. We don't even like when the fucking national anthem is sang in other fucking countries in different languages. Like, you can understand how this is a non-fucking starter. And the Russian Orthodox Church explicitly was saying to their congregation at the beginning of this war, if you go to Ukraine and die killing Ukrainians, you'll go to heaven. Yeah, that's what you should do. That's why they were kicked out. Among other things, like directly funding the Kremlin as well. Let's see, one person familiar with the document described it as a very generic one, that it was heavily tilted towards Russia. Another person briefed on the plan called it very comfortable for Putin. It's not a plan, but a mix of real practical proposals with good intentions, a Russian person familiar with the matter said. Part of it is absolutely unacceptable for the Ukrainians. Officials in Kyiv briefed on the plan said it closely aligned with the Kremlin's maximalist demands, adding it would be a non-starter for Ukraine without significant changes. But one of the people briefed on the proposal was less pessimistic, saying the Americans are pressing Moscow to clearly articulate what their expectations actually are to start the negotiations. If we're conceding maximalist demands, but we're not making Ukraine concede to the maximalist demands, I can see that as a decent bargaining tool, but it still is not like, what are you going to do after that? Like, what pressure are you going to apply after that if they don't, if their demands are unreasonable? Then you just say, okay, well, Ukraine, you're gonna like basically America is putting their hands in their asshole and then walking up to Russia and saying, what do you want? No, so like it's not even it's a stupid fucking plan. It's stupid altogether. I even tried to steelman it. I tried to fucking steelman this shit. It's fucking stupid altogether. The proposal comes as Zelensky's political position in Ukraine has weakened amid a widening corruption scandal involving several close allies. The fallout has emboldened opposition figures and triggered dissent. Within his Servant of the People party, some MPs have publicly called for the dismissal of the president's chief of staff, Andrei Yermak, and proposed a unity government that would dilute Zelensky's authority. There's definitely a lot of, talk about how they can change some of the old, like, I guess there are officers that have embedded themselves. Like there are bad actors that, like, the way I hear it is they're on the front line, there's less room to fuck around, so there's less fucking around. The back line, there's more fucking around. There's a lot of, you know, people who got into cushy positions early in the war that need to get routed out, and they need to. They've done a lot of I know that they've passed a lot of laws and a lot of anti-corruption laws. They've tightened down how they monitor money flowing in and out of the country. They have arrested people for embezzling and stuff like that. So, but still the problem is that these insiders, these people who had influence over the party early on, are also corrupt, and those people are closer to Zelensky's inner circle, is what I at least understand of it. Um, so that does need to be changed. That's not great, and they are rightfully fucking pissed. So, yeah. So I think Andre Yermak was, fuck, I think that I even got told something about that guy. But it has left my mind since. But it has also given Washington a window of opportunity to apply renewed pressure on Kiev to reach a deal on terms that would be less than favorable. The Kremlin and a spokesperson for Dmitriev did not immediately reply to requests for comment. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The existence of a plan was first reported by Axios. Oil prices fell sharply on reports of the proposal as traders bet that peace talks would reduce oil supply risks linked to the announcement last month of U.S. sanctions on Russian oil companies Rosneft and Lukoil. Isn't that interesting? Brent crude prices fell over almost 3% to $63.17 during morning trading in New York, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate, the benchmark for U.S. crude, traded to a low of $58.77. Oil prices have been supported by the threat of sanctions, and any move towards peace talks and less stringent enforcement by Washington is likely to shift the market focus towards oversupply concerns. Kevin Book, head of research at Clearview Energy Patterns, a Washington-based consultancy, said Dmitriev visited Washington in late October after the U.S. imposed sweeping sanctions on Rosneft and Lukoil and canceled a bilateral summit with Putin that was due to take place in Budapest, as Trump had been growing frustrated with the Russian president. The last straw was a tense call between the two countries' diplomats, which convinced Washington that Moscow was not prepared to negotiate. So the problem I have is that we are signaling as a country that we do not want to we do not want to be the big dog in NATO. We don't want to put our weight behind it. We're not going to work with NATO when it comes to readiness plans that they have for the next 5 years. When it comes to, we're basically signaling that we're going to be an obstacle for our allies. So even if we don't want to directly militarily involve ourselves with Russia, if we don't want to, have reinforcements to enforce the border and to do other tasks in the country so that they can have more of their soldiers go to the front line, even if we don't want to do that because we're fucking afraid of it, we're essentially doing nothing. We've put the tiniest little amount of pressure on them with threats of sanctions, and we know that we can tighten down sanctions as well. We know that we can do more. But we're just not going to. Because Americans don't feel the threat of war with Russia. They don't feel the threat of expansionist claims. And unfortunately, the continued economic, well-being of Europe does influence us. The fact that we don't want to supply countries that supply an invasion, we have an interest in solving this war is all I'm fucking saying, right? We're sitting on our hands. We're doing nothing. We're doing in some ways less than nothing. Because it's almost like the same sort of thing with the tariffs, right? Where the economy could be doing not fine if you do absolutely nothing at all. Because at least then it will have to stabilize. But these oversold promises, these oversold promises and underdelivery on any actual results. It's And the problem with talking about Ukraine is that unless the US is going to actually start calling Russia's bluffs when it comes to their nuclear threats, they're going to continue to lose because we did lose soft power. Like, we've lost all routes of being able to put a stranglehold on. At this point, with the delays caused by Trump trying to get into office in 2024 and Mike Johnson, like, because of those delays, there is like there are less options than we had before. Like, we could have applied pressure at an earlier time. We could have helped our allies actually make an offensive plan in 2024 in the summer and 2023, where they didn't have to worry about scarcity of supply, where they didn't have to worry about munitions, where they had enough Patriot systems to protect their troops in the front line as well as protect their power infrastructure in the back line. We should have done that, because if we had done that, Ukraine would not be in the dire situation they're in right now, where it does look like there might need to be another military intervening for there to be any sort of just outcome for Ukraine. The problem I see with that is that if that is a precedent that the international community lets Russia set by letting them get an advantageous result in this war, why the fuck would they think we would do anything different for Poland? Because it's the exact same calculus. It's the exact same thing. All they have to do is roll into Poland. And then, oh, it's, well, we had a nuclear agreement. What are we going to do? We going to nuke Moscow when they roll into Poland? No, everybody's going to be saying, are we really going to sacrifice the world for Poland? They're going to be saying the exact same fucking thing. The exact same thing they were saying in World War II. And it's frustrating to me because Americans are going to be the last to experience this current wave of destabilization that is going throughout the world right now. This removal of American soft power. And, I mean, I don't know. If you pay attention to it, it's concerning. It's probably one of the things we need to be paying more attention to. Anyways, where are we at now? All right. Does the dog have the squeaky toy today? All right, I'm gonna go AFK for like 2 seconds, and we're going to be getting into. So we had the response from a Cheeto to the video I watched yesterday on Indian fatigue from Sandman, where he went over how a lot of these stereotypes in the Tyler Oliveira like Indian poop festival thing were, you know, misrepresented, and a lot of stereotypes, you know, basically are just basically colonial, like Western colonial mindset projected onto people that are in their country, who are only in their country because their country is fairly prosperous, like, you know. But apparently a Cheeto made a response, so we're gonna go over that as well when I get back. And I'm gonna go AFK for a few. Grackle. You're like, Grackle, what would you prefer I do too? Because, like, I don't know. I'm gonna be trying a couple different things out. If I stream earlier in the day, I'm thinking of doing like dry politics coverage in terms of like Senate hearings and things like that, and kind of researching things as I go, talking with chat when it comes to that. But also I wouldn't mind just doing more gaming streams and shit like that. I don't really have a plan just now. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go AFK for a few 4 minutes. Yeah, you need me to cover more of the U.S. Senate morning business. Tune in for hours of senators yapping about their state's favorite dog catcher like it's Russian national business. I was surprised. They were at least a little bit on task. There were some people that obviously were just doing like their fucking stump speeches and shit yesterday. I tuned in the stock. Okay. I listened to the Senate floor hearing about the Stock Act, the House hearing about the Stock Act today. Or no, it was the... What was it? It was some committee. I don't actually remember. Some people were discussing the Stock Act, right? About reforming U.S. financial disclosure laws for our politicians so that they can't engage in insider trading as much anymore, and that was interesting as fuck. So I feel like if I would have covered that this morning, that would have been quite that would have been a good time, I think. But the other thing that I want to discuss, I realized before we get into the Cheeto video, I want to go over something that I am terrified of. Let me find it first. I have it. Yeah. So, quick 1-minute intermission here, real quick. I had a random 150 view video served to me the other day. And it was a decent long form video. I'll go back and find it. I'll post it in my server in the content suggestions, because I actually think for a small creator, the guy was pretty funny. I liked his commentary on this. But I needed to show this to you guys when I saw this, okay? Because this is like, I don't know if this was the plot of a Black Mirror episode yet, but this is basically organic, like, futuristic dystopian horror. Let me make this larger real quick so we can see it better. One moment. Yep. Right. So, what if the loved ones we lost could be part of our future? And this is a company, two-way app. This is a real app. I looked it up. They do have stuff that they're developing. So they posted this promo video here. What if loved ones we've lost could be part of our future?
He's getting bigger. See?
Oh, honey, that's wonderful.
Kicking like crazy.
He's listening. Put your hand on your tummy and hum to him. You used to love that.
It feels like he's dancing in there.
Oh, honey. Oh.
Mom, would you...
So already I have serious issues with the concept of this technology. Because the idea that they're showing us here is you are going to be interacting with it as like a replacement for what would have been, obviously it's nice, yeah, you can interact with your mom when you're pregnant. This is like a major life thing, obviously. It could probably comfort you if your mom would have died recently, that you could, at least show her the baby, maybe in a limited capacity. I can understand, that would be nice, but it's still very weird, and I think it's a maladaptive sort of thing to incentivize in people. And it also seems a little bit disrespectful. I feel like especially AI technology as it exists right now, could not recreate a loved one, like... Sorry, I had to answer my dad real quick. Yeah, unironic necromancy. It gets so much worse, though, because like I said, if this was just showing different people, like, using the app in ways that could maybe be part of the grief process, I could say, okay, that makes sense. That's, it's weird. I wouldn't do that, and I don't think that I would find that, like, respectful. I would not be able to suspend my disbelief enough to interact with an AI version of my dead parent in a comforting way, but, maybe some people could do that. Like, it's, people laugh at pictures of or videos of AI cats, playing instruments on fucking front porches and stuff.
Charlie
So
that bedtime story you always used to tell me.
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn who didn't know he knew how to fly. This baby unicorn was like your mom because she didn't know that she knew how to fly, but she knew how to do all kinds of fabulous things.
By the way, the script for this entire fucking ad was written by AI. You can just tell as well. But that's just a meta level analysis.
Grandma. Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
So we now have the same child. We watched this child grow up, okay? Instead of the mother just being like in the previous scene being like, "Oh, I remember this childhood story that my mom used to tell me," and she would still cry. You would still have the fucking welcome in Smurf Inserter. You'd still have the fucking same reaction. You would just be able to organically feel that, and you would be then having that moment with your kid instead of your kid having this stupid fucking moment with the goddamn phone, with the goddamn fake grandma on the phone.
Things.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
It was really
Now you got the fucking kid with his iPhone 42, translucent, I guess. I don't think translucent phones are ever going to become a thing. I really don't think that the technology is worth it.
fun. I made this crazy shot in basketball.
I don't really care that much about basketball. What about?
Based screw. But I actually like that part. I gotta replay this 1 second.
Really fun. I made this crazy shot in basketball.
I don't really care that much about basketball.
I don't give a fuck about your hobbies, kid.
What about the crush?
Stop.
Give me that fucking gossip.
Grandma, stop talking.
Just tell me one thing.
Look who's gonna be a great grandmother.
Oh, Charlie. Oh, congratulations.
She says that he's been kicking a lot, though. Like, a little too much.
Tell her to put her hand on her tummy and hum to him. You loved that.
What a touching moment that you also could have had with your fucking mom, because you would have not had this stupid, lifeless, goddamn automaton to console you in these times. Your mom, what is your mom doing? Where is your mother? Where is your fucking mother? Like, that makes you so mad.
You would have loved this moment.
You can call anytime.
It's so creepy. My ageless fucking homunculus grandmother trapped in my phone. This is some fucking Roko's Basilisk shit. Holy fuck, welcome and set up. Sci-fi author, my book I Invented Torment Nexus is a cautionary tale. Tech company, at long last we have created the Torment Nexus from classic sci-fi novel. Don't create the Torment Nexus. And it gets worse.
Okay, Mom, I just need a quick video.
Is this like an audition or something?
No, Mom. Just 3 minutes.
You need my best side?
Can I see another one?
I can play the piano.
She's so talented.
I am. I'm your mother after all.
Keep going. Bunny starts by telling us.
With two-way, 3 minutes can last forever. 3 minutes! Apparently, everything that your fucking kid needed to know to have a goddamn...
A little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born as a very young child.
I would hope so.
So, okay, the other thing too. She did not explicitly tell her mom in that clip what she was doing. She was scanning her mom's identity into an AI app and interviewing her about her life. Not saying, "Oh, Mom, well, you're gonna die soon, and I'm gonna scan your identity and make you live forever inside of this tiny fucking machine." And my kid is gonna miss out on all of the fun experiences and memories that we had together. Do you remember all the memories? Do you remember all the times of you telling me about your mom and about people that had passed away? Well, my kid's not gonna have to deal with that because they're going to fucking interface with a goddamn resurrected... This sucks. The fact that by all rights this seems like a real thing is the worst part about it. Like, I don't want to download. I don't want to do anything with this company. I don't want to incentivize this. Like, so yeah, I guess it's they're doing like generative AI and then in different like outfits and shit like that. Can't wait for Facebook to your dead grandma's soul because you can't afford the monthly 14. That's what I'm saying. What if they're like, we're gonna make your grandma experience just a blank gray room if you don't update your subscription, because we realize that they're actually yeah, wait, so that's a good point. To be frank, she probably tried to explain and grandma didn't give a F, just like basketball. Yeah. So this is horrible. I hate everything about this, and I hope that these people, whatever, like, AI bubble they're currently benefiting from, I hope it comes crashing down on them in the worst way possible, because this is why only people that have the ability to dedicate themselves to learning a skill should be able to access creative potential. Because if we just let AI do it, this is what fucking happens. These people do this shit, like, whatever. So the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be reviewing the Cheeto video. So we're going to get into that as well. Which I'll probably be less mad about. But I'll have more to say. So yesterday we watched the video Indian Fatigue Cringe Fest by Sandman, which was basically him going over, pointing out a lot of negative stereotypes, correcting a lot of misinformation in the Tyler Oliveira video, dunking on white people and everybody else and Muslims throughout, pointing out some contradictions in that, like, if you're calling out, you know, certain parts of Indian culture and you're against gays, but you're also against gays, blah, 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 blah. TLDR, I thought it was a good video. It was pretty funny. But there was a response, apparently, from a Cheeto. We're going to go through that, see what he had to say. Because the title is... Let me fix the fucking screen. Jesus. Why so big? I need to set, like, a stream elements scenes for, like, if I just had one for Twitter and one for YouTube, I could do this easily. No. But yeah, anyways, I can't wait for, like, AI is horrible. Like, I saw a video this morning. I didn't save it. I should have saved it. It was on Twitter. This apparently this professor, I had to check for a second. I don't think the video itself was AI. I don't think it was an AI generated video about a woman melting down about AI. But it could have been. Either way, it was this professor at the front of her classroom who was, like, flailing around and, like, freaking out, saying, don't scan your notes into generative AI, like, it's fucking cheating and blah blah blah. So, like, she might have been freaking out over the general idea of it, but also, like, yeah, imagine that all of these college students putting that information into generative AI, making them all stupider, you know, making the papers have, like, hallucinations and all this shit. Yeah, I can understand why you'd be fucking melting down about that. I can understand why you would have to then question every single paper that you get if this person actually understands what they're talking about. And for, like, you can say, oh, well, we use calculators for math, and, like, how is that any different? It's like, it's extremely different because of the amount of creativity and problem solving that can be outsourced to AI. It inherently makes us stupider. And it's good to do basic math every now and then. It's good to not have to use a calculator for all your fucking math. It was AI generate? Oh my god, are you kidding me? I hate life! I hate this world! I hate this world so much! God damn it. So let's get into the video, I guess.
Let's take a look at the Indian fatigue stuff. Dude, they're mad. So I got an email, yes, literally an email, from somebody saying to react to this video where this is the thumbnail. Indian fatigue cringe fest. So apparently I'm gullible, Tyler Oliveira is a liar, and then Mark Dice is delusional. And I kind of like, you know, I think it's hilarious that he's being called a liar, like he's misrepresenting India or something. And in the thumbnail, you can literally see a chunk of poop flying toward his mouth. Like, they can't, like, maybe don't use the image of Tyler Oliveira where there's poop flying at his face to say, you know, he's misrepresenting India. Because if you're gonna say he's...
And once again, I pointed out yesterday that Tyler Oliveira had his mouth open the entire time he was walking through the fucking people throwing shit at each other. Oh, I was gonna show that to Chronic. At least that part. Maybe we'll show after.
misrepresenting India by saying that they're throwing poop at each other, and the photo you use to call him a liar
And no, like, the guy said Indian poop festival with the fucking poop emoji.
one where there's literally poop flying at him. It kind of makes you look a little stupid. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. But yeah, gotta say I'm looking good. Maybe I have to pull out the wife beater some more. I got a little bit of that chest hair coming in. So yeah, not looking too bad, gotta say. And yeah, anyway, let's take a look at this. Indian Fatigue Cringe Fest. Yeah, I got named in this video, I guess, because I disavowed Gorhaba and a few other things. But we'll give this guy a fair shot and let's take a look.
The Western society has found a new fetish these days, and it's not like their usual fetishes like being a cuck or being a furry or being an LGBT activist. Their latest fetish is being an asshole while talking to Indians or talking about Indians. And
Okay, hold on a second. So he just said Westerners are being assholes when talking about Indians, but he
Yes.
literally starts the video off by being like, yeah, Westerners are gay furries and all cucks.
Yes, Chatface.
So what are you, like the nicest guy ever? You're gonna call us assholes, but you're gonna deal with all this shit to start off the video? I mean, I don't care, to be honest, but let's not act like you're a saint, bro. We're all assholes here.
latest fetish is being an asshole while talking to Indians or talking about Indians. And
Oh my
since these
God.
guys get little to no resistance from Indians across the globe, these guys have become way
You think that people get little to no resistance when criticizing Indians?
Wait a
Are you
second.
high?
Saddam just sent me examples of what I saw. And yes, they are AI generated. Some of them are AI. Yes, this is what I saw. I was like, I'm pretty sure this might be AI generated. And then this one.
GPT, I gave you Jenny AI so you'd actually learn something. Do you hear me? I can't do this anymore. Stop using
I had a concept a couple weeks ago where I saw this Twitter conversation with two people having anxiety over the fact that they weren't sure if the other person like was a bot, and like discussing how it's changing like the way that they have conversations with each other, and like how they check and whatever. And then I thought it would be interesting to like tell an AI to generate a conversation between two people that are having an existential crisis over the fact that they're not sure if the other people are bots or not. And you can do that, and that's probably definitely happening on Twitter. There's definitely people having conversations about how crazy it is that you don't know if other people are bots that are themselves bots. Anyways, back to the fucking video.
The Western society has found a new fetish these days, and it's not like their usual fetishes like being a cuck or being a furry or being an LGBT activist.
Grok was the one who confirmed that this was fake. We're already handing over all the fucking controls, man. God, at this point, I kind of hope they become sentient, because clearly we can't take care of ourselves. We're much more likely to destroy ourselves with it in our hands. Please, fucking take the wheel.
The latest fetish is being an asshole while talking to Indians or talking about Indians.
Oh wait, I went to the wrong video, so I was like, oh, it's...
Like Tyler Oliveira literally got doxxed and harassed for like days to weeks after releasing his first Gorhaba video. They didn't leave him alone. You think Indians are like super peaceful? They wanted this guy dead. Yeah, man, you know, usually we let all the Indian hate slide, but today I've had enough. No, you don't let any of it slide, dude. A slight criticism and the entire comment section is flooded with threats.
To direct and comfortable in their hate mongering. If this video came to your feed, then there's 100% chance that you have seen a video of a random foreigner cherry picking some incidents from India and labeling it as
Me, the foreigner? Oh, I'm the foreigner. Oh, okay, interesting.
This is so fucking... I hate people like this. I hate people like this who hear the word foreigner and they realize that a person is talking about somebody critiquing their home country's culture and calling them a foreigner in this context. Yes, Cheeto, you're a fucking foreigner. This is such a Westoid fucking thing to do, man. God. Saddam, you missed the first part of the stream. I actually have some of your tweets. I have some of your tweets in an Obsidian doc as examples of people on the left that engage in bad faith fucking accusations for like turf wars that I dislike. So it's probably good that you weren't here in the beginning. But yeah, that was what the beginning of the fucking stream is. And it's the exact same thing. These goddamn Westoids. I'm becoming woke. I'm becoming a woke feminist. I went from being a fucking alt-right goddamn, like I wasn't like Empath Chan, but I was definitely edgy as shit, right? I went from that to being like the wokest fucking person ever, and it hasn't been like a course correction swing. It's been over the course of like 3 or 4 years. I just keep getting more woke because these stupid motherfuckers are so confident about the shit that they say and they're so stupid.
I'm on my home turf, but I guess if you
I didn't snark you, but I did have ammunition to snark you. If you would like, I can snark you still.
want to call me a foreigner, you can go right ahead. I just think there's a twinge of irony there.
Before we dive back in, here's something you can actually do when you're bored. Play games and get paid for it. If you click the link in my description or scan the QR sims and offers, 20 hit anything, you can see
is now being labeled as which
India
country of India does it. For example, this scout
No, that's not true. No one's saying things off.
as if whole country of India does it. For example, this scout
No, that's not true. No one's saying the whole country
this
of
is
India
an
celebrates
hour-long video, by the way,
but
so I'll
part of
pause
the
that in a
country of
second.
India does, and that's bad enough.
Dung festival, which is celebrated in only one small village in India, is now being labeled as whole India's festival.
Nah, bro, no one's saying entirety of India celebrates this festival. We're just saying part of India celebrates that festival, and that's bad enough. I don't have to say your whole country does the poop throwing festival. I just have to say one part of it does, and that's bad enough, bro. Like, that's not good.
कोई sense है इस बात का? It's like watching a homemade American cuckold porn and straight away coming to the conclusion that every American man is a cuck, which most probably is true, but we should not be generalizing an entire population based
So, let me understand this. American men are mostly cucks, but you have gone on to... Wait, did my...
on the act.
Yes, that's the joke. That's the joke, is that he's doing the thing that you hate to you. And guess what? Yes, you are getting triggered by it. Yes, you are responding to it. Yes. Because anybody would.
My spacebar doesn't work, man. The Indians got me, dude. They've hacked my computer.
Activities of some selective individuals.
So he's saying that American men are cucks, but I've literally seen like so many videos of Indian men trying to flirt with white women that are touring their country, and they have the worst riz imaginable that oftentimes they give up the riz halfway through and just take their cocks out and hope the girl doesn't run away.
I also want to point out that I saw that video on Twitter, and there were a lot of women responding to it that were just white Western women that were like, you know, this would probably work on me. Yeah, I'm just saying, don't sexually harass women, but, you know, in the right environment, you know, whatever.
But you know,
saying there's some real fucking freaks out there, man. It works on some women. That's crazy. Like, women do not respond. This is a PSA. Do not respond to you probably should not respond to the guy just whipping his fucking cock out. Okay, that should not work on you. Because you're incentivizing guys to just whip their fucking cock out, okay? Because it works on some of us, apparently. Don't do that. Like respect yourself enough that, you know, they should care to have a little bit of a conversation for you. At least ask you, would you like to suck my cock? You know, politely, at least, maybe. Anyways.
That's pretty cucked, man.
Right? If they would have this much brain to understand these basic things, then we wouldn't have to make these kinds of videos. But since we are making these kinds of videos, let's get straight to the point. We'll see the Indian fatigue video, which has more than 1 million views, and like any other India hating video, this video also has a lot of misinformation and lies, which we'll talk about. And to make this video more interesting for me and more informative for you,
I think the scary part about discussing these things is that you don't need to lie, right? I think for some things, you have to make shit up, right? If you want to make a certain group look bad when that group is really innocent, you have to lie. But when you're talking about, you know, common practices in India, some of the laws they have, I'm pretty sure marital rape is like just still legal there. That's like, you know, I don't have
I want to point out that marital rape was only outlawed in all 50 states in the United States on the year of my birth. And I'm not that old.
To make up shit, okay? The videos exist, the data exists.
I'm still kind of
India
old.
doesn't need to be like, you know, it's not like this magical place that people have to lie about in order to, you know, make people hate it. It's like, you just look at Google Maps and that's all you have to do.
What I'll do is, I won't be reacting to the original video, but instead of that, I'll react to the reaction of the original video.
That's me.
This way we'll cover two kinds of Westerners, one that creates these misinformative, hate-mongering
Is that supposed to be me? Pretty accurate.
content, and the other that believes everything that's been fed to them, and not just believing, these guys propagate it further, leading to more hate mongering and misinformation. Before we dive into this video, I'll give you some intel on the creator of this Indian fatigue video. This guy is an American but is from Middle Eastern descent, and he's a Muslim. You might think it's unnecessary.
Is he talking about me or Ibs? I'm not. Yeah, he has to be talking about Ibs because I'm not Muslim.
To point out this guy's religion here, but we also need to understand that every guy's opinion.
Dude, he's gonna, bro, okay. I don't know why he's reacting to me and not Ibs because, bro, I swear Indians hate Middle Easters more than, like, New York City did post 9/11.
They do. They do, because they're right next to fucking Pakistan. They have, like, a problem, yeah. Yeah, Kashmir is a bit of a... Alright, I'm gonna take a break, pause real quick. I only have, let's see. I have a segment here. Bad setup, bad. So we got 3 tweets from you. So the theme of the video earlier was Westerners who are motivated by the right things when it comes to going after Destiny, right? But they are engaging in attacks on people, like Ukrainian Anna. Like, this is something you have to know about me, Ukrainian, or Saddam, is that I've been a Ukrainian Anna fan, and I've been telling her to get the fuck away from Destiny for a long time. So I sympathize with you that, yeah, she is kind of tangentially supporting a sex pest, right? However, she is being bombed. Her father was killed by Russians in a bombing in her hometown, in her home apartment, like the apartment she grew up in, I believe. She does a lot of documentation of the transactions that she does, of her fundraising. And the reason I sympathize with her a lot... No, you didn't, Chronic. We're taking a quick pause. The Achito response is really long. You're good. You can scroll back in the VOD on YouTube where I just reacted, and then we're going to get back to it. But this is a quick snark on snark violence intermission. I am shaming. I'm Twitter shaming. Let's see. Okay. Let me fix this, make it look nicer, I guess. So, I'm somebody who feels that she shouldn't associate herself with Destiny for the same reasons that I think anybody shouldn't associate themselves with Destiny. However, I do understand that in the more left-wing, like, tanky, quote-unquote space, like the people who would be more likely to watch Hassan than Destiny, right? Which if you're looking for pure political analysis, you're probably watching like Majority Report or Hassan for a lot of your news analysis because they do streams really regularly, or you're watching somebody like Destiny who streams every day. Maybe you're watching a more liberal person like Hutch, even though I don't really think Hutch's analysis has any like value to it, to be honest. But like, so like, I guess what I'm saying is that because the more left-wing space has this problem with calling out Western imperialism, but not calling out Eastern imperialism, they tend to not be outspoken advocates for Ukrainian independence, like for the defense, for the sovereignty of Ukraine. And because of that, Anna might find herself with limited options to fundraise. And fundraising is a very interesting part of the Ukrainian war effort. Statistically, like there are a lot of the drone program is funded through crowdsourcing. And 80% of all casualties in this war have been due to drones. So, like, it's important. It's important especially when they can't guarantee American support in terms of military aid, when it comes to munitions, when it comes to like long range offensives, when it comes to the sort of things where they can make more sustained offensives. This is how they can take care of the meat waves that they're facing. So we have this tweet from Miss Saddam Supergirl. Why isn't Anna using all her rape cult money to recruit more soldiers instead of dyeing her hair? Dyeing your hair doesn't cost a lot of fucking money, man. She's actively fundraising for about, so we will go through it because I do have the receipts. But I feel like you don't need to attack Ukrainians to go after Destiny. There's plenty of reasons to go after Destiny. I think the ceasefire on Ukrainian Anna held until she started to say things about the left versus liberal divide. And when she started to say things about the left versus liberal divide, a lot of people felt comfortable going after her. And while I think that might have been a bad move by her, I still think it should have fucking held, man, because this is just... So we have Gato Fumador, which is who we were really getting into. I kind of just, you know, ranted about Gato Fumador for a couple hours. A week ago, I got dogpiled for suggesting this Dylan guy was pandering to the racist in his audience, and now he's doing a collab with the biggest pro-genocide content creator on YouTube. I didn't actually watch the Ethan Klein... Has the Ethan Klein Dylan interview been released? Because I've been a part of Dylan's community for a while, and I remember when the Ethan Klein thing happened, we were all fucking pissed off. Like, we were all pissed as shit. We were like, okay, why the hell, like, we can't watch this live? He's gonna edit things out. It's gonna, like, he's gonna have, like, editorial control. This is kind of, like, a little disrespectful. Nobody was happy about this shit. Nobody liked the way that Ethan Klein handled this. And a lot of people in that community, I can say for sure, as somebody who's been there since 2023, are definitely, like, more on, like... I have not found a community with, like, the kind of pro-Palestine people that exist in Dylan's community who will continue to invite DGGers in, keep them as pets, and eviscerate them over the course of a couple days. Like, I think there's some utility in that. I think it's good that they let people in. They don't exactly, like, it's not a hug box inherently, but, like, they definitely, like, Dylan's lead moderator, Sepsin, is a trans woman. So he's very pro-trans rights, which is awesome for a left-wing creator. He's been pretty inclusive with, like, he's been good at keeping his community ideologically, I would say, open-minded, but there's not Zion, like, we don't have a strong Zionist band. I feel like the Zionists get ran off eventually, because we have a couple posters in his community that are strongly pro-Palestine. So it's like, I don't think Dylan is strongly, like, he's definitely pro-Palestine. He's definitely not like, he definitely has criticism of Israel for the way they've conducted this war. I've heard him say it, right? And his community is also reflective of his position. So, like, I don't think that this is a DGG centric community. In fact, I formed a lot of friendships through joining that community and arguing with DGGers early on and helping to point out the behavior that they engaged in, like the bad faith sort of debate bro behavior that they engaged in against their Ukrainian mods. Like, specifically hassling them about the fact that, oh, no more warm water port for you, no more warm water port for you. It was originally the people from Destiny's community that were going into Dylan's audience and hassling Ukrainians. So that's how I see it. I don't think there's any fond feelings there. So I'll say it again, but there are serious allegations that Dylan and Ukrainian Anna are scammers who siphon money from streamer audience, claiming to raise funds for Ukrainian soldiers. Plus, they're overt Destiny/DGG fans. They're not. So I guess Anna is. So they also indirectly support pedophilia and rape. Which is also crazy, because yes, Destiny did something illegal. But we have somebody in our community that we all make a pass for often who solicited a minor of the same age, right? So the problem is that he's in violation of the law. We want Destiny to get legally fucked because he's a bad person, right? And he is probably attracted to underage people, right? But to say that anybody that tangentially supports DGG or Destiny is also in support of pedophilia and rape, especially in the case, like I said, you have one person who is actively fundraising for a war, and you have one person who is very, like, not at all connected to Destiny, has criticized, like, organizations that he's worked with Destiny and everything like that. Where are we getting this from? Where is this animosity? When you have so many things to attack Destiny over, why do you have to use this vector of attack? When you have so many things to criticize Israel and America's support of Israel over, why do you have to compare it to the war that Ukraine is fighting? Like, why do we have to do this? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, interesting allegations out there that Dylan Burns and this Anna girl he runs with are scammers who exploit the tragedy of Ukraine in order to extract donations from Destiny's audience. If true, IDK whether to be appalled or impressed. Lol, and then, like, Otto reshares this, which is just... Deeparama shared this. There's no proof of it. The only thing is that, like, I think the post that Deeparama shared, they said, like, oh, early in the war, she was, like, sheltering, like, women or something like that. And that's the thing that this person is trying to use to say that she is supposedly trafficking people for a Western benefactor being Destiny. This is crazy. This person is under an active attack, okay? Like, we don't need to stoop this low. The reason I dislike this, especially as somebody who actively thinks that Destiny is a bad person to have the prominence he has, to have the platform he has in this space, is because when I point out that Destiny is bad to people, right? One of my best friends who is a Destiny fan also happens to be Ukrainian. When I point out to them, you shouldn't support Destiny because he's a rapist. You shouldn't support Destiny because he's going after these people and doxing them. They can point directly to this and say, okay, but the people who are going after him are also making blatant lies about people as well. If that's bad, this person's doing it too. If rape is bad, okay. I mean, it's like, I don't know. There's a difference between online streamer wars and real life, like, conflict. And I think the thing that I'm experiencing the most is how disaffected people seem when they talk about politics, even in the West when they talk about politics. Because it's not just about this, right? It's not just about Ukraine. It's not just about Israel-Palestine. It is people. This is what I dislike about the entire platform of social media, about the entire concept of algorithmically delivered content curated to our specific need, and these companies having an incentive to keep us hooked into this thing, to keep us addicted, right? Yeah, no, and I know that you support Ukraine's autonomy. That's why I'm saying, like, I just think that Anna in particular, I understand that there was a ceasefire. I understand that she got into the left lib divide a little bit, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like when Destiny says, oh, I'm one of the only streamers that's talking about Ukraine, that's why I get to do these horrible things. I don't like that. And I don't like that Anna does feel obligated to keep some level of peace with Destiny because of the situation she's in. I feel horrible for that. When Anna did her Pierce Morgan appearance, I was fucking, like, yas queening more than anybody else. Like, I was so fucking happy for that shit because I was like, finally, people can see, DGGers can see. Like, yeah, she's talked shit directly about Pixie on his streams. I agree, that's bad, and I disavow. However, I fully do not criticize Anna for her entire motivation to be just get that bag from Westerners that will give it to you. I don't blame her at all. Like, if it was any other person in America that was associating, any other person with Destiny who is associating with him, like, strictly for their financial incentive, yeah. But she gets a decent amount of money from these people. She has no solidarity or respect for other women. Yeah, but neither do the people in commentary. That's the thing, is that, like, I would, if I could pick a target, right, of who deserves to get the most criticism for their lack of respect for other women, it's not the person in a war zone. It's the comfortable, stupid fucking streamer living in fucking New England that has everything going for them that still feels the need to shit on women because it's good for their brand. I feel shitty about that person. I kind of dislike them. Anna, she's in different circumstances. The same sort of thing where, like, when people dehumanize others that are actively invading them, like when people use racist epithets against Russians and stuff like that, when they're actively being invaded, I don't see that as morally the same as somebody who just decides to do it because they want an excuse to be racist. And no, Letner, Grackle, it's not standard. And even if people support Ukraine in the West, in America, it is the kind of disaffected, I just want to put this out of my conscience sort of support. But yeah, I would say sit up. Your criticisms of Anna are fine, and like you're totally fine to criticize her in any way, anytime that she's ever like called out or not been an ally to women. If she's gone after Pixie or anything like that, you should call her out for that. What I would say to Anna, or what I would say to you about Anna, is that from my experiences with her, she's not an unreasonable person. If you come at her like this and you accuse her of shit, yeah, obviously you're not going to have a conversation with her. Obviously she's going to block you because she doesn't have the time of the day for that shit, right? But I do think that you can appeal to her about the hypocrisy that she's engaged in reasonably, and she will respond to you. I think there's a little bit of trauma there when it comes to people just kind of criticizing her work. I don't like the idea that she would just be like, oh, well, you just want to come after me because I'm associated with Destiny, but I'm trying to just fundraise and stuff like that. Yeah, like, that's obviously a deflection, but, you know, you gotta understand you're dealing with a person that is in a very different circumstance than you. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I should steelman your criticisms in terms of like, so if you have links to her on Destiny's stream talking shit about Pixie, because like I said, I have criticisms of her as well. I do think that she shouldn't engage in the lib-left debate as much. She shouldn't really like involve herself in like divisive American politics, because I don't think divisive American politics really help her cause at all. And she doesn't need to remark on it. It's the same sort of thing where like I would dislike if the same sort of way that I dislike when Americans like comment on internal disputes, like interpolicy disputes in Ukraine. It's the same way. Like, I don't like that. But yeah, you're right. If you have information of her talking negatively about Pixie, I could say, hey, this is something that doesn't probably help your cause. I think that a lot more people would be willing to support you as an individual than Destiny. And like, you have the ability to differentiate yourself from him, and you could probably do that by just saying, hey, because I want support of DGG, I'm gonna take a neutral stance on like stuff around the, like, I think that would have been the better thing. If she was just like, I'm gonna take a neutral stance with stuff around the lawsuit, I'm not gonna remark on it, I'm not gonna say something one way or the other, I want to remain politically and neutral about it. If she would have said that, fine, whatever. And then, you know, things come out. But it was, if she's actively maligned Pixie and tried to forward his same justifications for why she's a bad actor or why her case shouldn't be taken seriously or her claims shouldn't be taken seriously, then yeah, that's pretty shitty. She shouldn't be doing that for the same reason that I think she shouldn't be engaging in American politics, because there's a lot you don't fucking know. We have a process for that. Like, let it get handled in the courts. If you want to err on the side of, I don't want to just accuse a man without good reason, then yeah, just let it get handled by the courts and remain neutral. But don't malign one person's character or the other. Yeah. Because I will agree that Pixie's far from perfect. She talked about Pixie being crazy for thinking Destiny would maliciously leak or something. Yeah, like, it depends entirely on the context of what she said. I can see how somebody could be like, oh, like, I don't know. I don't want to steelman what I think it would be. But it's like that when the hack thing was the main narrative that Destiny was pushing before he revealed to Pixie that, like, yeah, I violated your trust, or like I sent it to a person, like he said publicly, I sent it to a person that I like trusted a lot, blah blah blah. Before he said all that, the hack narrative was sympathetic. And also the idea of, oh, I sent it to this person just to like fuck around, to like be horny, and then they got hacked. I can see how somebody might be like pedantic about the specific term malicious, but other than that, like, it's a cope, it's a deflection. It is a deflection, and it is a defense of Destiny that I don't agree with. But like I said, depending on my level of condemnation, I would have to see. Like, I would have to see what the actual thing is. Oh, I'm sorry, Chronic. Let's get back to the video. All right, intermission over.
Amount of beef these people have is ridiculous. I don't know what their problem is. I thought they were like neighbors and they were like, you know, they just didn't really hang out.
Snark healed. Yeah, I appreciate it. But like I said, I don't expect everybody to have the same, like, reaction to it that I do. It's only because, like, I have a personal connection with a lot of people who compliment and appreciate her funding. Like I said, we can go over it later. I can show you all of the documentation that she shows, how she, like, verifies her receipts, the way that she verifies it. If you have any belief that she is misappropriating the funds that she's sourcing, I definitely can combat that with a lot of information, and I will do that anyways after this.
Wow, I didn't know they had this much beef, man. Dude, Pakistan versus India, it's been going on for so long, and like, I still don't even know what side is fighting for what. If someone wants to explain this to me, maybe I'll pick up a jersey. I don't know who I'm supposed to root for.
Opinions and biases and way of thinking is shaped by their environment, their schooling, and their...
You don't need to do that, I believe you. I appreciate that. In particular, like, whenever it comes to Ukrainians sourcing money, they've had a lot of, like, internal controversies around people misappropriating funds, or there was this large, what was it? God, I can't even remember. It was a local country. It was, like, one of the countries nearby. God, I can't remember. But there was a controversy where this guy basically had been funneling funds for a long time, and they had a person that was even posing as the person receiving it. So since then, there's been a bit of a push for people to put receipts, you know, even just the whole PayPal, you know, screen capture shit. If you only verify your receipts that way, you're kind of put under scrutiny. So yeah.
Religion as well, especially if they are from an Abrahamic religion, because most of these guys are brainwashed from the childhood to hate anyone who does not follow the same religion as these guys. And
Not
you'll
me.
see a hint of that hate.
He's not talking about me, I hope, right? I mean, he's got to still be talking about Ibs. Like, I literally don't care what your religion is. I think that's why I like America, is you can kind of be whatever religion you want. There's a lot of countries you don't have that freedom.
In this entire Indian fatigue video.
Alright, so there's a video that's kind of going viral
For those watching or for those listening, that's old me on the top, new me on the bottom.
right now called Indian Fatigue.
This is
It
now a
has
reaction to a
nearly
reaction to a
500,000 views
reaction.
in 4 days, and it's made by a friend of the channel Ibs. So I'm happy to see him going viral.
So basically one friend makes a video and the other one gives his seal of approval. It's
Do you know what a friendship is? What? Yeah, bro, his friend made a video and he liked it, bro. He must want to suck his cock. Are you like, I don't even, he has a problem with me dropping a like on the video that my friend made. I'm like,
Well, like, okay, if you have a friend who makes very inflammatory claims and you don't push back on them and ostensibly support their shit, yeah, like, you kind of tangentially, as you can see, people will associate you with the same things that they seem to support.
explaining something that is
And you're not in a war zone, bitch!
so obvious, and he's like, yeah, so as you can see, he's clearly biased. No fucking shit. Like, the reason I'm saying that is so that people know my biases. That's like a transparency thing for me. Like, what? Yeah, bro, I'm telling the truth, and that's gay. Huh?
like 2 girls 1 cup thing where one
It's 2 girls, 1 cup to have friends. Are you like have you just no friends?
guy shits on the cup, which is obviously Indian people, and the other guy just eats that shit up.
You know, there might be some Indians
I like how his analogy was poop. That's kind of funny.
that see this and get very upset with him just
Throughout this video, we're probably going to watch him distance himself from the claims of being intentionally racist towards Indians, while being racist towards Indians, while also maligning the guy who is making stereotypes about whole groups of people, even though that guy did say, this doesn't apply to all groups of people, I'm just making generalizations.
just based off of the title and the fact that they see the video is an hour long. An hour of him, I guess, airing out his grievances with the Indian community.
This video title is basically copied from a different Indian fatigue video which was yeeted out of existence by some unknown forces. That video also had a lot of misinformation and generalization as well as plain lies, and this video is also going to be the same.
And
Grackle, we'll get into that.
I mean, I gave it a like because I'm his friend, and I haven't even watched all of it, so, you know, maybe I have to take away the like while watching it. We'll see. Yeah, the thumbnail is just insane, by the way.
The video is not yet started, and he's already sucking up to his balls. This clearly shows
I'm sucking up to his balls because I said that if he says something that I don't like, even though he's my friend, that I'll call him out for it, man. That's crazy, bro. Yeah, I'm definitely sucking his balls by being, like, as honest and open about my biases as possible. What are you saying?
how unbiased this reaction is going to be.
Yeah, also, I don't know, like, why are you even watching me? Go watch the original video. Like, if you're reacting to the reaction, it's like, I don't even understand what, I mean, obviously I'm a goat, so maybe he wants to hear what the goat has to say. I understand, you're free.
Grackle, that's because, well, I will, like I said, I'm gonna get into some of it. However, I will say that American women don't have as much disposable income on average, apparently.
To listen, but at the end of the day, I feel like the arguments that you're going to be responding to are the arguments that are being made from the original video that I'm like either agreeing with or expanding on. So go watch the original video. It's not age restricted too. I mean, honestly, a part of me takes this as a giant win for the state of YouTube because the fact that you can make a video titled Indian Fatigue with this as the thumbnail and not get age restricted, that's so goated. Get monetized. I hope he's monetized on this.
That's so goated. Like, okay.
I hope he's making money. I hoop he can keep the lights on. That would be insane, though.
So basically, shocked to see that you can say whatever to Indians on YouTube and you can still earn money.
Yes, Letner is Grackle and he is a guy, yeah.
Out of it. Like,
oh, dude, that's terrible, man. Freedom of speech resulting in a payment? Huh, that sucks, man. Wait, you can talk shit about people and get paid for it? Oh, man, the humanity. That's crazy, bro. It's because, like, you're about to probably do the same exact thing for 30 minutes, so you clearly don't have a problem with it. You started the video off by saying Westerners are gay cucks, and so what? You're benefiting from the same rules that I am. So what the fuck? I don't understand. You have a problem with people, you know, making money off.
It's his video. He's talking about a systematic problem that is, like, basically Indian hate is not considered as damaging. It's not cracked down on. It's not noticed as much. This is a video highlighting those things. And yeah, he is also using the same sort of inflammatory rhetoric. It is getting the response out of you that is intended.
Off of giving their opinions when you do the same exact
You're supposed to realize that, but you don't.
thing.
there's no moderation from YouTube's end to
no moderation. No, there is moderation. There's 100% moderation. Like, what do you think I started the video off by saying, let's nuke India tonight? Like, everyone gather around, we're gonna Oppenheimer this motherfucker? That's not what I said at all. Like, this is so stupid. Like, these people want to say in Pearl Clutch about moderation, when the reality is, you should see what people are saying on Twitter. If you want to see what no moderation looks like, go on Twitter and look at what people are saying about India and Indians. You would find YouTube a fucking McDonald's play place in the dialogue compared to Twitter.
How is this a counterpoint? This only supports his point. It's worse. He's saying it's worse. He's saying it's bad on Twitter because fucking you can openly call somebody.
Stop bullying, harassment or hate mongering against Indians. And it's obviously a big win for creators like these because it gives them a free pass to be as bad as possible in the name of criticism. And see how...
What the fuck are you talking about? In the name of criticism is criticism. You're saying they get a pass to be critics in the name of criticism. That's what criticism is. You just said the same thing twice. I don't understand.
Happy he looks about this. Like he's getting a cut from the ad revenue of this video.
And yeah. Bro just said he's happy to get money. Yeah, bro. Did that have to be said? So I guess let's just make some, observations and commentary prior to the video. Mind you, by the way, we're 8 seconds into my video, so we're all on the same page. My opinion about talking about Indians is my opinion about talking about any group of people. I think criticizing any group based on things they can control is fine. Indians can control their culture, you know? They can't control their skin color, you know, their race or their accent, right? Those are all things that are, I would say, immutable.
You're wrong on this, buddy. Accent can be controlled and changed with practice. And I'm pretty sure you don't even know what culture actually means.
Right. Wait, what? No, I mean, yeah, accent can be changed with practice, but I'm saying if you're born in a certain area where everybody has a certain dialect, you will continue and you will inherit that dialect. Like, that's obvious. I'm giving you, like, that's something that I'm saying in your favor. So... I don't understand. Why would you even argue against that? I'm saying your accent is something that you're mostly born with because you're speaking, you know, it's the same thing as your language. You're speaking what your parents are speaking or like what your society is speaking and you're sounding the way they sound. I mean, I guess if you like fly to some other part of the world, you'll start to adapt the
Yeah, Chronic. When they get to that point, I do have the stats pulled up, which, like I said, there's one point in this video that I don't necessarily agree with Sandman's reasoning for it, only because of the stats that I have.
Way they do things, but for the most...
But it's kind of a way, it's kind of like, if you understand statistics, you know, it reduces the impact of either person's point.
Part, it's out of your control, right? I think that's like a fair thing to say.
And so with Indians, there's definitely some things I would say with their culture that's worth criticizing, as is with every culture. I do think they have some uniquely, I would say, irritable things that people find with their culture, like scamming, call centers.
What the fuck, man? Do you really believe that these things come under culture? Or you literally...
Well, yeah, I mean, if something is taking place in a certain region by a certain group of people, more than another place with a different group of people, then that would be a culture. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so if you would say that there is a group of people in America that are engaging in a certain kind of behavior more than another group of people, that's a cultural thing. Like, in any sort of place, if there's a group of people that are acting a certain way, that it's part of their culture. Right? And the culture is reflective of the entirety, like, not every single Indian person works in a call center. Not every single American person engages in crime. Not every single American person engages in parts of our culture that are associated with poverty. They're associated with outside factors, like, and I even say culture, that parts of our reality as Americans, right?
100%. Like,
actually had nothing else to say, so you came up with some random crime happening in India. That's dumb as fuck, man. A culture...
How is that dumb? Like, I don't understand. This is the issue, is you always want to have to, like, people are always looking to take the good of what their people do and, you know, while completely ignoring the bad.
That one's not making it through.
Right? So, for instance, if I wanted to say that, like, Chinese people have, like, really good food, I'm sure they would say, yeah, 100% our food's the best, right? But if I said, yeah, their government is, like, super authoritarian and corrupt, they'd be like, oh, nah, bro, not cool, too far. So it's like, I'm allowed to talk about your culture, but only when I have nice things to say about it. That seems super counterproductive.
Okay, the difference is that if we were talking about Americans, if any other group of people were talking about Americans, they would not associate our current government with culture. They would associate it with government. They would still associate, like, we still have a moral responsibility for the outcomes of like realities in our country, right? The fact that we have Donald Trump as a president, you can say that part of that is due to our culture, right? The culture in the United States of fucking like valuing family. I would say the culture of valuing family, the culture of Christianity in the that is ubiquitous throughout the United States. Like, yeah, that is probably contributed to, like, that's probably contributed why Donald Trump was elected. But a lot of it was probably the fucking economy too. So even then, like,
That doesn't seem like it benefits anybody, because that just leaves you narrow-minded and in this, like, never-ending echo chamber of, like, ethnic supremacy. That's ridiculous.
There is basically popular belief, customs, or ideals of a particular society, like not washing.
Yeah, popular beliefs, customs, and traditions, right? So a tradition, whether it would be religious or cultural, could be something that your group
good point.
repeatedly does. So Indians...
Yeah, Chronic, welcome to my community. Letner Goat is Grackle. He is here for every stream. We love Grackle. He is in my Discord every day. He has some interesting opinions. He will argue about them until the cows come fucking home. All right? So just like, yeah, like, he's a good person. I like Grackle. But he warned.
Do have a tradition of call centers and scamming. I know this because, like, once a fucking week, I get somebody calling my phone pretending to have the name, like, Greg, who says my car warranty is expired. I don't even own a fucking car. So, obviously, it's something where it continues to happen over and over again from one region by one group of people. So that is a cultural problem. That's obvious.
Your ass after you take a shit and spreading it across.
Okay, no, I can't even make this up. He just keeps talking about shit. That's not even me saying this.
Your butt cheeks using a toilet paper and
what the fuck, bro? Why bring that up? Why actually bring that up, man? Now that's just you, bro. Now you're just like, bro, two of his analogies so far was about...
It's also a trope, like, it's literally a trope in other fucking European countries where they're always like, why are Americans always talking about shit? This is a thing. Like, yeah, he's speaking your language, bro.
About poop. I'm not even joking.
And applying deodorant to mask the smell of shit is Western
Bro, you can't. There's no way. There's no way, right?
That's a good point. How does he know it's an Indian? He could be Sri Lankan.
culture, because that thing
He
is
could be.
being
This guy could be a fucking Pakistani. You know, like.
followed in every Western household. On the other hand,
In every Western household, people are
He could be. Chronic. Do you think Kathy is actually Indian? Yes or no?
wiping their ass with deodorant. Oh, I didn't know that.
school shooting is not Western culture, because only
I love my auto mod. just check.
a few people do it, and it's also a
Okay, I'm gonna let this one through. I'm gonna let this one through so that I can make an example out of it. Alright? Why do you think Showbobs and Vagine became a meme? Showbobs and Vagine became a meme because it's a very funny way to ask a woman to send tits. Do you know how often I get asked to send tits? Do you know that every single one of my conversations with Morale is bookended by him asking me to send him pictures of my fucking tits? Okay? Do you know how common it is for men to request women to send them nudes out of the blue? It's not a fucking Indian thing. The reason that it's a meme is because it's really fucking funny the way that they say it. When they're just like, can you show pops? Like, with just the way that they're just fucking direct, it's honestly a breath of fucking fresh air that you don't have to tell me. Like, it's funny when you crash out at me and tell me I'm a bitch whore, at least, because you're bad at English. That's why it's a meme.
crime. Similarly,
Yeah, a lot.
And no, Chronic, I don't think these people want you dead. People like Grackle are really insecure about their own masculinity, and that's honestly why they feel the need to attribute all of these problems with men's abuses of women onto a specific ethnicity, instead of accepting the fault in themselves.
A lot of people do scams in India. Do you think that the rates that school shootings happen in America is like the same rates that Indians are doing calls? Brother, I get, like I said, at least one call a week from India. I don't get to witness one school shooting a week. Those things are not the same at all.
scamming and all those call center shit is not Indian culture.
Like, there's literally a festival, I'm pretty sure. It's called Gorhaba, where they spend
This is true.
time throwing around cow shit, and that's
I will concede that I'm not gonna concede to that point, no.
again not even me trying
Yeah,
to
I also don't think he approves of school shootings either, 100%, yeah.
be mean. I mean,
Like, what am I gonna sit here and defend that?
Gorhaba is a unique, messy festival.
I'm also not gonna act like they don't happen. Like, they happen and they're bad. He didn't even admit it. He's like, bro, bro, it doesn't even happen, bro. It happens the same amount of school shootings do.
Where they throw cow shit at each other, but they call it dung. It's believed to have purifying or healing properties. The festival involves collecting cow manure, a priest forming a blessing ritual, and then a battle. So
Dude.
they literally have a battle where they throw poop at each other.
One thing that everyone needs to admire about these Westerners is that
So, I mean, he's kind of skipping over the aspect of it's one village. So you're contextualizing the entire culture of India and perpetuating a negative stereotype that they're all somehow obsessed with shit throughout the course of your video, and also by misrepresenting this one village as indicative of all of India. That was the critique. If you weren't pause-ending it so much, you probably would have got it.
when they want to hate someone, they go all over the place to find reasons to hate them. Like this festival this guy is talking about.
By the way, I watched the Tyler Oliveira video on that festival, and it seems pretty normal. Like, as somebody who grew up in the South, nothing I saw there seemed third world insane. It was just people doing a kind of degenerate thing for fun within, like, reasonable limits. Like, it's not like debauchery.
99%
It's just a weird cultural thing that we don't agree with. It's kind of gross. We got them too. Man, one of my like most one of my most clear memories from my teenage life was a kid walking into my third period class in, I think I was in like it must have been like in 10th grade or something. He walked into my third period class covered head to toe with pig's blood. He got in his car, drove to school, late, but he got there, and his response when he got to the teacher was, sorry, we had to slaughter the pig. And he didn't fucking wash himself. He sat in a fucking classroom with pig's blood all over him. That happened. That's my culture. That was the whitest, most American motherfucker I could have ever actually seen.
Of Indians don't
That's so funny. Like, the average person, he's acting like they have to go out of their way to find reasons to not like Indians. When it's like, when we talk about, like I mentioned earlier, the scam phone calls, is that someone going out of their way to get scammed? Like, someone wakes up, they're like, oh man, how can I get scammed so I have a reason to hate Indians? No, like, they get the phone call from them. It's so...
Scammers are not, like, scam calls are not like a uniquely Indian thing as well. I don't know.
so funny to me. Like, dude...
It's just that they have a particular industry that had a lot of graduates and not a lot of, like, economic development at a certain point. So there were these, like, yeah, there were call centers that popped up there. They also have a large tech industry, so they have a lot of people that speak English and are competent with computers. So it's just kind of how it works. Just because you see, like, an association with a group of people doesn't mean that it's part of their culture. This is the same thing that people make a mistake with about, like, African Americans when it comes to, like, analyzing crime statistics in the United States. People say, oh, they're just more naturally violent. They're just more inherently violent. And it's like, no, this maps 1-to-1 onto economic factors. This maps 1-to-1 onto, incarceration rates. And this maps 1-to-1 onto, is there a consistent guardian present in this person's life when they're growing up, right? That's not culture. Nothing about that is culture. And if you think it is, then, I don't know, you're walking around with your fucking head over your, like, with your head in the sand. I don't know what to say.
Dude, yeah, you're just really trying to find a reason. It's like, no, actually, one thing happens, and then another thing happens, and then that's how the animosity builds up. Like,
don't even know
you think people just, like, spawn in, waking up, being super furious at, like, Indians and, the culture? Like, that's not how that happens. Nobody starts there.
About this festival, because there's only one village in India that celebrates this festival. These people amount to 0.01% of India's population, or even less. But Miss Snow White is acting as if whole India celebrates this festival.
Miss Snow White? Is that me? I'm Miss Snow White. Again, I also never said India as a whole celebrates this. I've, like, literally every single time I've mentioned it, I say that it's a part of India. Like, did that even have to be said? And then it's like, for me, the difference is just like, okay, like, if the whole country celebrates it versus a part of the country and nobody has a problem with it, it's like...
What I'm saying is that is actually culture. Like, that is the culture. So it is a culture of the South in the United States that you do not have you don't have this expectation of cleanliness because you live in an environment where you will go and you'll slaughter an animal and you'll wear the blood on you all day. That kid thought it was appropriate to go all the way to fucking school with pig's blood all over him. That is a part of culture. It's the part of, like, I'm not no pussy. I don't fucking wash my ass. I don't wear no fucking goddamn deodorant. I'm a man. You're gonna smell my stink. That is absolutely a Southern culture thing. And you can say that that's impacted by socioeconomic factors, but that's something that's developed because of that.
It's like, well, then there's sort of no point, because when you're saying, oh, the whole country doesn't celebrate it,
because people virtue signal that regardless of socioeconomic status. So these people have the ability to bathe themselves. These people have the ability to have the common sense to understand that nobody wants to, like, interact with pathogens carried in blood in their day-to-day, right? They have the education to understand that. They choose to be this way.
The reason you're saying that
explicitly with that, yeah,
is to make it sound like they disapprove of it. Like, dude, no, not all of us do it. Okay, but so do they have a problem with it? No, not really. Like, we all still kind of worship.
Like I said, the fact that I knew that everybody in my city had running water, they had access to a shower, okay? It's a normal thing. It's not uncommon to understand that if you're covered in blood in this country, you're probably a biohazard risk to everybody around you. Like, that's not necessarily a culture thing. We have that standard as a general rule. Or it's not a socioeconomic thing when we have that standard, right?
cows, and there's products like for cleaning and stuff that have cow urine in them. So it's like, what's the point? Like, why would you even bring that up to say that not the whole country does it if you know that the whole country kind of like silently or like out loud supports it?
We are talking about this festival. Let's talk about the Tyler guy who made a documentary on this.
And by the way, it's kind of fine. It's kind of metal. Just the same way that when I saw those people throwing cows shit around and fucking having a battle with it, I didn't think, oh, that's disgusting. They're horrible humans. I thought, that looks kind of like a mosh pit. That looks kind of fun. Just don't have your eyes open and your mouth open the whole time like the stupid fucking guy that vlogged it did.
The documentary itself is kind of a decent vlog where you see a random white guy being treated as a princess.
And you don't even have to say that like the entire country of India doesn't celebrate Gorhaba to make the point that the country is like dirty, because the whole Google Maps test still applies. That's not part of the country. India has like a significant problem with littering, garbage, and filth. Like this is like most of the water, you know, the bodies of water are filled to the brim with garbage.
What is cow pie? I've never played cow pie bingo. Please enlighten us. What is cow pie bingo, Crackle?
The highways have trash littered like for miles long on the side of the road. This is not something that is just dedicated to one part of India like he's saying this festival is. So again, you know, we can just keep going down the list of things that are countrywide issues like laws, standards, all these sorts of things. But regardless, Gorhaba is like disgusting. That's all, like that's that.
And is allowed to participate in a strange festival in a remote village in India. And that's it. He went there, recorded the festival and came back. After that, if he would have just normally uploaded the documentary like a documentary, then there would be no problem in his video. But the thing is, this guy wanted to create drama. He wanted all kinds of controversies and also wanted to capitalize on the Indian hate. So instead of saying that I'm making a documentary on this specific festival in India, this guy shares his photograph from the festival with a demeaning caption. After that,
dude, the demeaning caption is that he went to the poop throwing festival. The demeaning caption is just him describing what he experienced. That's crazy.
This is your brain on Western fucking bullshit. Like, no, he's saying that you're contextualizing.
Bro.
that he posts.
I mean, and it is a narrow criticism for sure, but he's saying that you're contextualizing one specific area of the region as India's poop throwing festival. Like, I think that there is a need for cultural sensitivity when you understand that there is an association so strong that this guy is making jokes about it in the video, right? If you're going to cover an Indian poop throwing festival, you should probably be respectful about it and understand that people are going to use that to further anti-Indian hate.
2 more videos from that same festival with a similar kind of caption. And notice one thing, in each of his posts.
So let me ask you, okay? If his caption is disrespectful, what would you rather him say? If he went to India's poop throwing festival and he wants to tell people that he went to India's poop throwing festival, but you don't want him to say that he went to India's poop throwing festival, what else would you prefer him write? I went to India's sneaky little fun time that I'm not, you know, it's like you have to watch the video.
Chronic, I think if you sent around the Tyler Oliveira video to like all of the streamers to react to, they'd probably have the same reaction that I did, which is like, okay, if you watch the documentary in its entirety, it seems kind of respectful. The villagers did a decent job of advocating for themselves, although some of them certainly were like starstruck, right? So they were speaking for the camera, and because of that, you have to have a certain level of care, right? But I think that overall, like, the documentary, if you watch it, you'll probably have the takeaway that, yeah, maybe the reaction from Indians was too strong. However, if you have the context of how he promoted his documentary, I think that the criticism still stands, and he used the criticism, he baited the criticism, and then he used the criticism as part of his selling point in his video. He added in the criticism. So, like, he definitely... he benefited from it ultimately. Like, I don't know. I think most people would see it for what it is. So I don't know.
Video to figure it out. I went to a little cool Indian thing, a little celebration. I went to a top secret Indian fun time party. Like, what is that? What you want him to say? Just like pretend that he doesn't know what it is, or that it's like what?
He always
we can't be honest.
Claims this festival as India's poop throwing festival.
It is.
Even though while recording,
is it America's poop throwing festival? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, it's India's poop throwing festival, and he's underlying it. Yo, bro, he said India, bro. It's their festival. It happened in there. Oh, is it China's India? Like, what the fuck are you? Like, literally, this makes. Where else? Where was this? Please tell me. What's this guy's YouTube channel name? Sandman. Yo, Sandman. Where else was it? If it wasn't in India, please tell me what you'd rather him say. He has a problem with saying it happened in India. It did. He has a problem with saying it's a poop throwing festival. It was. So he wants him to just like lie about what happened.
Documentary. He would have
You're not engaging with the criticism of that it was one village and that, like, this guy is speaking to a general undercurrent of racism against Indians that's considered so commonplace that you can literally just have poop as the title in an Indian person. Like, yeah, there are certain things that if they were contextualized under a different race, they wouldn't be okay, which is why he's framing it this way. Like, he's posing a criticism. Cheeto is not engaging with the criticism here at all. He's playing dumb. He's pretending he doesn't understand, even though he himself engages in the same sort of dehumanizing, like, racist rhetoric.
realized that this
Which is what this guy's trying to say. Like, what's wrong with just saying, yeah? Like, why can't you just be like, okay, what Sandman did was fine, which he said, yeah, I'm generalizing people right now. I'm not speaking about all of this group of people. I'm only making a joke about a generalization. And then he made the joke. That's the difference.
festival is limited to
Like, it's...
only that particular village and their personal beliefs.
Just fucking own it, I guess is what I'm saying. Just own it. Just own it.
But still he kept writing India's poop festival everywhere.
Oh, I get it. Right. So the, religiously justified festival where they throw poop at each other only happens in one part of India, not every inch of the country. Guys, we're here thinking like every single...
It's a village with like 40 fucking buildings. Yeah, it's tiny. Not like only a part, like only a village. Like this is a village, a very...
person and their kids and their newborns, and
like, this guy gets defeated in his own argument.
In the womb they're also throwing poop when it's like only one part. Oh, dude, oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. I thought, okay, yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure they also don't hold the same attitudes toward this cow dung, even if they're not throwing it at each other, right? I'm sure they also don't respect the poop itself, even if they're not throwing it.
As if to somehow...
What?
I mean, I'm sure they also don't hold the same attitudes toward this cow dung, even if they're not throwing it at each other, right? I'm sure they also don't respect the poop itself, even if they're not throwing it.
What do you... Okay. What do you mean? Are you pointing to, like, the cow veneration thing? Is that what you're talking about? Like...
As if to somehow say that all Indians celebrate...
I don't understand, like, why you would say, like, what, you treat the poop with, like, utmost respect or whatever?
this festival. And when Indians...
Yeah, I hate this guy.
Pushed back by reporting his post and making fake claims like he did in his post, he started playing the victim card. Like Indians are masked.
Yeah, because he was the victim of a harassment campaign. People need to learn what playing the victim card actually means. When you play the victim card, the reason you can
Oh, I'm so interested.
criticize somebody for doing that is when they aren't actually the victim and the thing they did is worse. His only crime...
So they're not actually the victim and the thing that they did is worse. So you can't bait somebody into victimizing you and then play the victim card. That's not the victim card ever. Like, you can't do something knowing that it's going to get a negative response from people and then victimize yourself over that. You can't intentionally do that. Like, that's not bad. It's only about proportionality. Are you sure? Because I don't think that's how it works.
quote unquote to these people was taking video of what they do versus what he got in return was massive harassment, doxing, death threats, more misinformation than he spread. And so when you say he's playing the victim card, it's like, yeah, because he's the actual victim.
Festival. Even though while recording his documentary, he would have realized that this festival is limited to only that.
This guy that got a lot of views and had a successful documentary, he's a victim.
Particular village, as if to somehow say that all Indians celebrate this festival. And when Indians pushed back by reporting his post and making fake claims like
famous YouTuber Tyler Oliveira mother joined OnlyFans, now uploading videos on Pornhub. Bro, this is insane. So they're trying to make him look bad by saying his mom joined OnlyFans, but this doesn't even make any sense. So why, if she joined OnlyFans, would she be uploading to Pornhub? Either she's on Pornhub or she's on OnlyFans. Yo, Indians, if you're gonna try to slander this guy's mom, make it make any fucking sense. Did she join OnlyFans or Pornhub? If she's on OnlyFans, then she would directly be—
This guy is so fucking mad. He is caping. He is caping for a guy that doesn't even know who he is.
getting money for her videos.
So hard. I've never seen this.
Whereas she'd be getting advertising money from Pornhub. Those two things are a conflict of interest. I mean, seriously, this doesn't make, like...
Like he did in his post, he started playing the victim card. Like Indians are mass reporting me and doing this and that. While
yeah, bro, mass reporting so that he loses his fucking income is actually harassment.
parallelly uploading controversial clips from his documentary. And let me remind you again.
Listen, I want to say something. I need to admit to something, okay? I saw that video. I saw that clip initially. And I went to report it. I hit the report button because I thought it was fucking... I thought that this was something that was posted on Twitter intentionally to stoke hatred. I thought it was an AI clip. I didn't report it because I was like, okay, maybe this is a real documentary. This is just a clip from it. Okay? But that was my initial reaction. Like, that was my initial reaction because... We understand what this is meant to invoke. When we look at it, we understand what the intention of is of this. That was my reaction, was what the fuck is this? This has to be intended to inflame anti-Indian racism. Right? And like I said, I give him credit for doing a somewhat decently respectful documentary, but the way that he farmed it, yeah, he is playing victim. Like, he should have been more respectful. He should have understood the environment. That if you're gonna post a clip of a bunch of Indians throwing shit at you, that obviously people are gonna fucking make jokes. And you can make criticisms of, oh, India has problems with infrastructure and this, that, and the other, but you're not an Indian. You don't actually fucking care about these people. Like, you're literally just using something to try to contextualize them as dirty. And that's what the problem is.
He never clarified that this festival is limited to only one village in India and does not represent the whole population. Only when the final documentary was released, there it was mentioned that only this village celebrates this festival. But till then, damage was already done. Many people across the globe currently think that this is a nationwide festival and every Indian participates in this. Some even think that the festival of Diwali is celebrated like this only, even though it's completely different.
I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know what his political affiliations are or anything like that. But anybody who's got the guts to travel over into a third world country and show the American people what it is that they do to sell.
Yeah, okay, so you're showing a clip here. No comment on this. After participating in India's poop throwing festival, I have spent $5,000 on tests for countless diseases. If you don't see the full proof. Okay, bro, if you came back from the fucking festival, like, get an HIV test. Get a fucking, like, what, okay, the one thing, okay, if you're worried that if you had an open wound, if you worry about the fact that you held your goddamn mouth open so that every single piece of poop that was flung at you got it directly into your fucking mouth so that you could get more views from it, okay? If you did that, were you really that for this? Yeah, this guy's baiting. Man, I didn't notice this before in the fucking, I didn't see this clip in the video. Fuck this guy, man. Like, fuck this guy. He's doing the
Celebrate the country's biggest holiday.
I'm a fucking snake, man.
I think deserves our respect.
See, this is how these cucks form a narrative. And when people call them out for being misleading or let's say racist, these guys come up with...
So you're going to complain about racism while simultaneously saying that Western white Americans are, you know, cucks, right? That we're like inbred, that we're gay. So yeah, dude, the racism needs to stop, but I'm going to keep calling Western white Americans a bunch of cucks, a bunch...
If you weren't a pause Andy, you would have heard him when he said explicitly that just because I'm making jokes in this video, it doesn't mean I'm generalizing. I'm explicitly doing a thing here. I'm doing the thing that you're doing, but I've explicitly made the fucking caveat that this is not all people, which is something that you don't do. You explicitly reinforce the stereotypes that this is a cultural thing.
of whatever else he said right at the beginning of the video. So it's like, dude, you have no place to ever speak on this when you do the exact same thing.
lame excuses. Like if media is recording this festival,
By your own fucking logic, neither do you. You know what? You engage before he You've been making shit jokes this entire time, bro, so you deserve it too by your own logic. What do you mean?
then it's wholesome.
That's
but if
true.
I record it, it's racist. While completely hiding the fact that the
Does he argue against that point, or he just moves on?
And he was reacting to you originally being racist.
marketing of this documentary was in fact racially motivated. And to be honest,
How is that possible? Because he said it happens in India, so it's racist? Okay.
Indians should not be surprised by these kinds of things because this is what these Westerners have been doing from a long time and they're not going to stop anytime soon. I just feel bad for the people of that village because these guys were so generous and friendly and were happy that a foreigner has come to
That's so funny. So he like feels bad for the guys that are smearing poop on the dude.
enjoy their festival
The guys who threw chunks and boulders of actual cow feces. But I feel bad for those guys, man. They were just trying to have fun.
with them. But those guys were not aware of his real intentions. This guy was acting as if he
Yeah, because these people are from a small village. They don't understand, like, the spread this video is gonna get. That's why he feels bad for them. Like, this guy just pretends to be dumb.
was really
Does he? So he actually says that it only happens in a small part of India. And my argument was like, okay, that might be true, but the general country defends this behavior. And then later on in this video, he defends.
Based off what? Based off what, bitch? Based off what? Based off what? What do you mean defends the fucking behavior? What do you mean defends the fucking behavior? I defended the behavior of my countrymen just in
this behavior by saying they're all friendly and nice. So, like, if you're gonna fucking say that it only happens in one part of the country, but then defend it, it's like, why even bring up that it barely happens if when it does happen, you think it's good?
curious about the festival and even acted as if he enjoyed that festival. But once the documentary was completed, this guy took a U-turn and started shitting on them. So kudos to you,
Shitting.
Tyler, for betraying
I think they were shitting on him.
those poor villagers. One thing that was good in this documentary was that during the festival, this guy and his crew were wearing hazmat suits, which they might have thought would protect them from the cow dung, but actually it was protecting the villagers from these guys. The festival was
You can't make this up. So guys.
Let him finish the joke.
Dude, there's no way. There's literally no way. It's like, it's actually kind of cute. Like, it's kind of cute that that's like the best they can do. The guy's in the middle of a poop throwing circle wearing a hazmat suit, and that this guy's response is like, oh, thank you for wearing that. You actually are protecting us.
basically about throwing cow dung on each other, but having these guys without those hazmat suits would have increased the chances of adding human poop to the cow dung by 100%. It's because
Dude, so his comeback is that Tyler Oliveira has poop on him. Isn't it funny that their best argument, their best response, this guy's best response, like the best he can come up with, is to say, you know, in response to people accusing
The response to people saying, haha, you're a poop person, is that person saying, no, you're a poop person. And you're like, I'm not a poop person, you're a poop person.
them of like having a poop festival that, no, actually Americans are poopier. This is it. This is the level of discourse we're at.
because of the Western practice of not washing your ass after you take a shit and just
Are you actually serious? That's where we're going with this? That Westerners don't wipe their ass. This is where we're at, okay? I've witnessed in Tyler Oliveira's video a man take a handful of cow poop, sample it, and then proceed to eat it after deciding the sample would have been tasty. And yet
You're misrepresenting it, actually. No, the guy took... He put a little tiny piece of poop on his fingernail after Tyler asked him several times if he would eat it. And then he ate it. He went like, it's fine. So no.
we don't wipe
Your own racism apparently influenced your interpretation of that fucking video.
our asses. Are you fucking kidding me? Guys, this is the most...
And then when I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. He asked the other villagers if they eat the cow dung, and they all were like, no, that's fucking weird.
insane video. I think this might be more insane than the cow poop festival itself, because you might think those people are like brainwashed into doing it, and like, you know, they've grown up around cow poop, and so they're like super okay with it, whatever. It's disgusting, but you could probably think of a reason why they're so okay with it. This guy is like so delusional, and he speaks with this level of confidence. It's like a mind rape to even hear this, because it's like, am I on drugs? Like, this is a gameplay commentary channel. Like, I used to make videos like this. He's sitting here.
He says a lot of words without saying nothing more than I do. Jesus Christ.
Like, yeah, we do We do throw poop at each other and, you know, drink cow urine, but, you know, these Westerners, dude, they don't even wipe. Really?
Roaming around with deodorant, their fecal material would have mixed with the cow dung and would have given all kind of STDs to those villagers. So thanks a lot for being in that hazmat suit, ma'am. Anyways, while we are talking,
Dude, this literally has, this like ratio is 3,000 people. All, like, these are just a bunch of Indians. Like, this guy literally is like, he's their last hope. No one's defending this behavior. The one guy who tries over some gameplay, they're like, dude, let's go. Please, like, thank you. I have something to like. And they were so proud of this as their product of defense. I got emailed this like twice to watch. They had to put signs on beaches in Canada saying not to shit on the beach. Yeah, I think we saw that. Not good.
talking about the cow dung festival, there's a similar festival which is celebrated
Cheeto is self-owning. Dude, he should have pre-watched.
in USA as well. Here the Americans try to throw the poop as far as possible
Wait. Hold on. Wait. I'm so curious.
with the cow dung and would have given all kind of STDs to those villagers. So thanks a lot for being in that hazmat suit, ma'am. Anyways, while we are talking about the cow dung festival, there's a similar festival which is celebrated in USA as well. Here the Americans try to throw the poop as far as possible, which
Is he like getting excited?
might seem less ugly than the festival that this Tyler guy documented. But here's the catch. The participants have to throw cow dung in multiple turns, and between each turn,
I feel like first of all, I've never heard of this. Second of all, this is gross. But third of all, there's so much immediately that's different than what you know are talking about in India that it's like actually embarrassing to stack these up against each other.
these guys lick their fingers. So now it evens up to the other cow dung festival.
Wait a second. That was good. I have to